Good evening, Ranjana ma'am. Good evening, ma'am. Ma'am, unmute करिए.
Ranjana ma'am.
I think we should start. Ranjana.
अभी मैम पेज पर मैम आई नहीं है अभी तो.
Okay.
अलका को फोन करें क्या? Yes ma'am. Please call. प्रोग्राम हो रहा है. Alka ma'am is joining just now. आ रही है. Hello.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to everyone.
Good afternoon,
Sorry
ma'am.
for the delay. I was not being able to join actually.
There was some issues. Okay.
Now you can begin, Didi. You can
Okay,
begin.
okay. Akhilesh, start करो. Akhilesh,
Yes, ma'am.
begin. वतन के लोगों, तुम खूब लगा लो नारा, ये शुभ दिन है हम सबका, लहरा लो तिरंगा प्यारा, पर मत भूलो सीमा पर वीरों ने है प्राण गवाए, कुछ याद उन्हें भी कर लो, कुछ याद उन्हें भी कर लो, जो लौट के घर ना आए, जो लौट के घर ना आए। ऐ मेरे वतन के लोगों, जरा आँख में भर लो पानी, जो शहीद हुए हैं उनकी जरा याद करो कुर्बानी। ऐ मेरे वतन के लोगों, जरा आँख में भर लो पानी, जो शहीद हुए हैं उनकी जरा याद करो कुर्बानी। जब घायल हुआ हिमालय, खतरे में पड़ी आजादी, जब तक थी सांस ले वो, जब तक थी सांस वो, फिर अपनी लाश बिछा दी संगीन पे
शहीद हुए हैं उनकी जरा याद करो कुर्बानी। जब देश में थी दीवानी वो खेल रहे थे होली। जब हम बैठे थे घरों में, जब हम बैठे थे घरों में, वो झेल रहे थे गोली। थे धन्य जवान वो अपनी, थी धन्य वो उनकी जवानी। जो शहीद हुए हैं उनकी जरा याद करो कुर्बानी। जय हिंद की सेना, जय हिंद की सेना, जय हिंद, जय हिंद, जय हिंद।
शहीदों की चिताओं पर लगेंगे हर बरस मेले, वतन पे मरने वालों का यही बाकी निशान होगा। आप सभी को नमस्कार। मैं अखिलेश, अर्थशास्त्र विभाग वसंत महिला महाविद्यालय की तरफ से आप सभी का हार्दिक स्वागत और अभिनंदन करता हूँ। यह वर्ष एक विशेष वर्ष है क्योंकि इस वर्ष हम अपनी आज़ादी का 75वां वर्ष मना रहे हैं। यह विशेष वर्ष इसलिए भी और महत्वपूर्ण है क्योंकि इस वर्ष हमने आज़ादी का अमृत महोत्सव मनाने का संकल्प लिया है। इसी जिम्मेदारी का बोध करते हुए अर्थशास्त्र विभाग ने भी आज एक वीडियो डॉक्यूमेंट्री कंपटीशन आयोजित की है। आज के कार्यक्रम की विषय स्थापना एवं स्वागत भाषण करने के लिए मैं अपने विभाग की अध्यक्षा डॉक्टर रंजना सेठ मैम से निवेदन करता हूँ।
Thank you, Akhilesh. I hope I'm audible to everyone. आवाज आ रही है? Okay. Let me first of all welcome our principal, Dr. Alka Singh, my dear colleagues and my dear students. दिलों में बसा एक सपना था, दिलों में बसा एक सपना था, आजादी के मतवालों का। जश्न है ये भारत के आजाद 75 सालों का। आइए हम सब मिलकर के मनाते हैं आजादी का ये अमृत महोत्सव। We are all Indians and therefore let us all join hands together to celebrate Azadi ka Amrit Mahotsav. Azadi ka Amrit Mahotsav is an initiative which has been taken up by the Government of India to celebrate and commemorate 75 years of independent India and the glorious history of its people, culture and achievements. It is an embodiment of all that is progressive about India's socio-economic, political and cultural identity. With this intention in mind, our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji, laid down, commenced the official journey of Azadi ka Amrit Mahotsav on the 12th of March 2021. To commemorate the monumental occasion, the Department of Economics Vasanta College for Women has zealously decided to imbibe the spirit of nationalism in all its students by organizing a documentary competition with two major themes. The first is Unsung Heroes' contribution in the progress of Indian economy through the economic ideologies. And the second is Unsung Entrepreneurs. We believe that this event will surely make the students understand the magnitude of the sacrifices this nation has seen for independence, the progress it has made socially, politically, economically, and culturally over the decades, and let us celebrate the diversification that it holds. It will be surely an attempt to bring together the students to take small steps towards a glorious future for our nation, of which we all are proud about. We remember every year Mahatma Gandhi ji, Nehru ji, and many more. But there are many such unsung heroes who have not been brought into the limelight. So, with this intention, we decided to organize this documentary competition. There are many. While I was going through some literature, I came across the vision of Kamla Devi Chattopadhyay. Kamla Devi Chattopadhyay, who was best known for being a driven force behind the renaissance of Indian handicraft, handloom, and she brought forth the upliftment of the socio-economic standards of Indian women by pioneering the cooperative movement, and later on, she also joined Gandhiji's non-cooperation movement. And she was the first woman who was put behind the prison for her participation in the SALT movement. There are many more, and we believe that our students have done their task very well. They will bring together many such unsung heroes of which we all are not aware about. Let me tell you all that during a short span of time that we have given to the students, we got 42 registrations from the students. And these students were from the Department of Political Science, History, Economics, Sociology, Psychology, Geography, and many more, and Commerce faculty, of course. Now, what we did is that to reduce the fact that we cannot produce so many documentaries together in this program, so we have made a screening of the documentary competition. We first of all brought forth 43 students before the judges, and out of those 43, we have selected 23 students, and of these 23 students, there will again be minute selections of students on the basis of their creditability, on the basis of the work that they have presented. So, we have got today amongst us two very dignified judges. The first is Dr. Seema Srivastava. I would request Seema Srivastava ma'am to just click on her video if she is there, and Dr. Usha Dikshit also to click on her video so that the students can see that. Dr. Seema Srivastava is the head of the Department of Psychology, and she is an IQAC coordinator also. She has been serving our college for more than two and a half decades. Dr. Usha Dikshit, she has also served our college for more than 2 decades. So we have got two learned scholars. Dr. Usha Dikshit, she is an assistant professor in the Department of Commerce, and Dr. Seema Srivastav is from the Department of Psychology. So we have brought forth both the faculties together, commerce and social science together, for the judgment, because the students are of both these faculties. So let me now, with this, request our principal ma'am, and also let me welcome our principal ma'am, Alka ma'am, who has always been a support element for us. She has always appreciated, and she has always stood by us whenever we wanted to conduct any program as such, and therefore we are very thankful to Professor Alka Singh, who is the principal of our college. I request Alka ma'am to please deliver her lecture. Before that, let me just end up by saying that let us celebrate 75 years of India's independence with zeal and vigor to achieve the milestone together. I now request Professor Alka Singh to please deliver the keynote speech. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Ranjanadi, for having me on this platform, which indeed is a very important platform from a different point of view altogether. The college, through various efforts of NSS, NCC, we have been trying to instill in our children the very joy of being in a country that is free. Generally, when we have not faced any problems or have not seen the turbulence, the agony and the struggle, we do not realize what effort went into the making of free India, a country with such a glorious past, and the struggles that took place, which have brought us to this state. Today, very proudly we stand and we say 75 years of independent India. But the fact is that we do not realize the sufferings of those who lived in a time when India was within the control of the British rule. And I'm very happy that the Department of Economics, under the leadership of Dr. Ranjana Seth, decided to take up an issue that needs to be highlighted each time when we organize any event. You know, what happens is that few people who are somewhere in the top slot or talked about, they come to the forefront for the establishment of any kind of activity. But it takes a lot of effort from each individual that is there at that particular time to bring about an improvement, a betterment, or any kind of establishment in an organization, in a country, in a family. And somehow we fail to mention them. Because after all, how many are you going to acknowledge? But this platform will help us acknowledge some of those people who have not been in the mainstream. Being in the mainstream is not always really very glorious, because you really do not watch the actions. But when we sit back and look upon all those that have been a part of any kind of an effort, we understand the value of their input. And it is this effort that really counts into the big moments. So today, while you talk about those unsung heroes, as Ranjanadi just now mentioned, and especially from viewpoint of the economy of the country, coming to the economics, it gives you a new dimension altogether. Being out on the open in the war front and looking at it from a different angle today will give us a different vision of free India and the struggle that they have gone through or their inputs to bring about this day. All I want to tell all those students who had the good vision of joining this very new venture of a documentary, that we need to understand from within that the free air that we breathe today is the sacrifices of thousands and millions of people around. And we need to understand that we have to help our country get better and better beyond boundaries, beyond selfish motives to come onto a humanitarian foreground. With this, blessings to all the students who have taken such interest, and congratulations to the Department of Economics for such an beautiful response from so many students in the documentary. And I think although the judges may have selected a few, but actually all of you stand winners for the effort that you have put in. We need to understand the effort that is most important on our part. So congratulations to all those who prepared the documentary, and of course, a lot of congratulations to the Department of Economics for having organized this. Thank you so much. Thank you.
थैंक यू सो मच मैम आपके मार्गदर्शन हेतु। और ये बिल्कुल सही बात है, और कि जैसे एक जगह कवि कहता है कि कुछ होगा कुछ होगा कुछ होगा जब मैं बोलूँगा, टूटे न टूटे न टूटे पुलिस मसत्ता का, मेरे अंदर का डर तो टूटेगा। तो आपकी बातों से हम ये प्रेरणा लेते हुए कि हमेशा विभाग रंजना मैम के नेतृत्व में नया करने का प्रयास करेगा। और अब मैं आगे की जो कार्यक्रम की रूपरेखा है, जिसके अंतर्गत विद्यार्थियों द्वारा बनाए गए डॉक्यूमेंट्री वीडियोस का प्रेजेंटेशन होना है, तो इस हेतु मैं डॉक्टर योगिता बेरी मैम से निवेदन करता हूँ कि वो आगे का संचालन स्वीकार करें।
Thank you, Akhilesh, and good afternoon to everyone. Now, this is a time to see the creativity of our students. So, I'm going to play the documentaries one by one. The first documentary is the documentary made by Shivani Singh of BA third year Economics Honors students. She has made a documentary on the Bhimrao Ambedkar thesis, that is the problem of the rupee. I hope my screen is visible and audible
Good
too.
morning, everyone. This is Shivani Singh. I'm a student of BA third year.
Yes, ma'am, screen is visible.
Today I'm going to present a documentary on great personality, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, and mainly on his thesis on problem of rupee. 100 years ago, a young Indian economist reached New York in the third week of July 1930. His name was B.R. Ambedkar. Ambedkar later became famous as a relentless critic of the pernicious caste system, an inspiring political leader and moving spirit of the Indian constitution. With his early training wasn't as an economist. He had to come to Columbia University to study under Edwin Sullivan. Ambedkar was one of the first generation of professionally trained economists in India. He was also the first Indian political leader with formal training in economics, with research papers published in noted academic journals. He came back from the US in 1916, taught economics at a Mumbai college for 3 years, and then went to London to do his doctorate at the London School of Economics under Edwin Kennan. The London doctorate was awarded in 1923 and the Columbia one in 1927. Ambedkar looked into the problem of a rupee at a time when there was a clash between the colonial administration and the Indian business interest on its value. The latter argued that the government was maintaining an overvalued exchange rate to help British exporters who sold their goods in India. The Congress backed India business in calling for a devaluation. London eventually agreed to set up a royal commission in 1925 to examine the matter. The main focus of the doctoral thesis was on how Indian monetary affairs should be arranged. Ambedkar argued in favor of a gold standard as opposed to the suggestion by John Maynard Keynes that India should embrace a gold exchange standard.
योगिता मैम आप अपने को म्यूट कर लीजिए। योगिता मैम
म्यूट कर लेंगे तो डॉक्यूमेंट्री की वॉइस नहीं आएगी।
अच्छा अच्छा, अब अभी वॉइस बंद हो गई डॉक्यूमेंट्री की, देखिए। आवाज नहीं आ रही है। अखिलेश जी आ रही है क्या आवाज?
नहीं मैम, आवाज नहीं आ रही है।
हाँ योगिता मैम आवाज नहीं आ रही है।
Built the base for the formation of
अब आ
Reserve
रही है
Bank
दीदी?
of India. The bankers
हाँ अब आ रही, ओके।
contribution in the Indian economy. The current context is very different, but the way Ambedkar framed the problem is still relevant today. Should the Reserve Bank of India try to defend the rupee, and what value should it defend? And the Congress is speaking for Indian business interests that want a cheaper rupee. A cheaper rupee at the end of 19th century has helped Indian exporters. His reasoning for such a compromise settlement was fascinating because it looked at the distributional consequences of the exchange rate management. Ambedkar said that a limited devaluation would help the business class as well as the earning class. A very steep devaluation would harm the latter since they would be hit by a high inflation if the fall in the price rupees was too steep. In effect, he said that the interest of these two groups should be balanced while thinking of the value of the rupee, because a very steep devaluation would reduce real wages of the
वॉइस अगेन जो है नहीं आ रही।
हाँ वॉइस नहीं आ रही है, प्लीज वॉइस को देखिए आप लोग।
If the student is there, she herself can present it. If there is problem. What is the problem?
Yogita, what is the problem? We can't hear anything.
योगिता अनम्यूट करिए.
The first student.
नहीं, एक्चुअल में मैम मैं म्यूट हो गई थी. एक मिनट.
A very steep devaluation would harm the latter since they would be hit by a high inflation if the fall in the price was too steep. In effect, he said that the interest of these two groups should be balanced while thinking of the value of the rupee, because a very steep devaluation would reduce real wages of the earning class because of inflation. In his statement to the Royal Commission of Indian Currency and Finance, Ambedkar said the more important point is supposing that there is a gain arising from low price. Whence does this gain arise? It is held by the most businessmen that it is a gain to the export trade, and so many people would have blindly believed in it, that it must be said to have become an article of faith common to all that a low exchange is a source of gain to the nation as a whole. Now, if it is realized that low exchange means high internal prices, it will at once become more clear that this gain is not a gain coming to the nation from outside, but is a gain from one class at the cost of another class in the country. Ambedkar also knew that the problem of rupee is eventually linked to the problem of domestic inflation. In the preface to the book version of this thesis, he pointed out nothing will stabilize the rupee unless we stabilize its general purchasing power. Amrit also pointed that the Ambedkar was clearly in favor of price stability and automatic monetary management, or what may today be termed as a rule-based monetary policy. Much has changed in the Indian economy since Ambedkar did this academic work in monetary economics, but some of his general approach to the problem of the rupee is still relevant. The benefits of the depreciation in an open economy, the need to take the distributional consequences into the account, the need to maintain price stability in the domestic economy, and the preference for rules over discretion in monetary management. Ambedkar was very much an economist of his time, firmly wedded to the quantity theory of money and the gold standard. His view too changed as the years went by and he moved closer to the socialism. It is unfortunate that he almost abandoned economics after the mid-1920s, though an early paper published in 1980 on the problem of small holding in Indian agriculture is almost prophetic in its anticipation of several themes in later development economics, including the existence of disguised unemployment in farming. He showed why India needs to industrialize to absorb his surplus labor, in stark contrast to the pastoral vision of his political opponent N.K. Gandhi. Unfortunately, Ambedkar never came back to the economic research, but his contribution was enormously good, well explained, and highly contributing to the Indian economy. Now we will go and see a video clip of his strong determination to develop India.
अमेरिका से यहाँ क्यों आए? क्योंकि मेरी पढ़ाई पूरी हो गई थी। आगे की पढ़ाई मैं यहीं करना चाहता हूँ। लंदन में क्या करना चाहते हो? लंदन स्कूल ऑफ इकोनॉमिक्स में एडमिशन लेना। प्रिजन में रहकर अपनी थीसिस पूरी करना, आर्काइव से मदद लेना। हाँ, और बैरिस्टर बनना चाहता हूँ। बस या और कुछ? मेरे को ना दिमाग पाया है जनाब ने। वेलकम टू लंदन। प्रोफेसर सेलिंगमैन ने तुम्हारी सिफारिश की है। उनके लिए तुमने किस विषय पर थीसिस लिखी थी? हिंदुस्तान का आर्थिक इतिहास 1765 से लेकर आज तक। बड़ा दायरा है। पहले किसी ने लिखा इस पर? नहीं सर, मैं ही पहला हूँ। तुम हमारे लिए कौन सी थीसिस लिखना चाहते हो? रुपए की समस्या पर। मुझे नहीं पता था कोई समस्या है। मैं सहमत नहीं हूँ केन्स के तर्क से, जो उन्होंने हिंदुस्तान के गोल्ड एक्सचेंज स्टैंडर्ड के लिए दी। बलि बकरी की दी जाती है, शेर की नहीं। सूबेदार मेजर खानदान की बच्ची हो, याद रखो।
Thank you, Shivani.
Yogita, please tell the students to wait after. Results will be declared after the program, just after the program. है ना? This is an announcement for the students.
Okay. So
And
just after
feedback
all the
will also be
documents,
given.
we are just going to declare the results also. So the next documentary is by Shruti Srivastav of BCom second year, and her topic of documentary is documentary on Kalpana Saroj.
Good afternoon, my respected principal ma'am, my respected teachers, seniors, and my all dear friends. First of all, I would like to give my gratitude to all my teachers for giving me an opportunity to present here and to introduce myself. I am Shruti Srivastav, second year student of BCom Honors from Commerce Department. I am here to present my documentary on entrepreneurs after the independence. Thank you. Born in a Dalit family, childhood wasn't as fun as it was for the upper caste children. एक ऐसे समाज, एक ऐसी जगह से बिलोंग करना जहाँ न खाने पीने की ढंग से सुविधा हो, न रहने के लिए घर। हाँ, एक ऐसे दलित समाज से बिलोंग करने वाली लड़की को आज पद्मश्री अवार्ड मिला। जी हाँ, मैं बात कर रही हूँ इंडिया की फर्स्ट वुमेन एंटरप्रेन्योर कल्पना सरोज। The lady has proved dreams can only become reality when you put your hard work and dedication. She is the inspiration for thousands of young girls who want to be like her. Her hardship started when she was 16 at a tender age. She started her career in a garment factory to support her family. After that, she didn't stop. She took loans for scheduled caste papers and initiated a tailoring business. The success went on and she opened her first furniture store. The journey of her took a new turn when she started KS Film Productions and launched the first movie. The movie was surprisingly dubbed in 3 different languages: English, Telugu, and Hindi. She was known for the entrepreneurship skills and she took over the company that went into a loss in 2001. She faced the challenges and market competition and restructured the company. And guess what? The company was at the height of profits. She is the example of that lady that can do anything from household works to run a re-owned venture. She was awarded as Padma Shri in 2013. You, women, will be fighting for freedoms until you stop asking for one. Live your life on your own wheels. Thank you.
Thank you, Shruti. The next documentary presentation is by Amrita Pathak of BA third year Sociology Honors, and her documentary is on Ranchod Lal Chota Lal.
Good morning, all of you. Myself, Amrita Pathak, BA third year Social Science Sociology Department from Vasanta College for Women. जैसा कि आज हम आज़ादी का अमृत महोत्सव का 75वीं वर्षगांठ मना रहे हैं, जिसके अंतर्गत आज हमें यह अवसर मिला है कि देश के कुछ ऐसे महान कार्यकर्ताओं, सुधारकों, उद्योगपतियों जो कि अत्यंत छोटे स्तर से निकल करके हमारे समाज को अत्यंत उन्नत स्तर पर ले जाने का काम किए, जो कि देश की अर्थव्यवस्था को सुधारने, उसको सुदृढ़ बनाने में अपना महत्वपूर्ण योगदान दिए के विषय में आज हम चर्चा करेंगे। हमें अक्सर देश के बड़े बड़े स्वतंत्रता सेनानियों, क्रांतिकारियों, उद्योगपतियों के विषय में तो बताया जाता है, किंतु अक्सर हम उन छोटे देश के कार्यकर्ताओं से वंचित रह जाते हैं जिनके विषय में जानना हमें अति आवश्यक है, क्योंकि वे समाज के निर्माण में अपनी महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका को निभाते हैं। किसी भी देश की उच्च नींव के लिए उस देश की अर्थव्यवस्था का मजबूत होना अति आवश्यक है, क्योंकि जिस प्रकार एक पेड़ की मजबूती के लिए मजबूत जड़ की आवश्यकता होती है, उसी प्रकार किसी देश के उन्नत विकास के लिए उस देश की अर्थव्यवस्था का मजबूत होना, सुदृढ़ होना अति आवश्यक है। मजबूत अर्थव्यवस्था के बिना हम उस देश की कल्पना मात्र भी नहीं, उस देश के उन्नत विकास के विषय में तो हम सोच भी नहीं सकते हैं। ठीक ऐसे ही एक सामाजिक सुधारक, कार्यकर्ता, राजनेता के विषय में आज मैं आप लोग के समक्ष चर्चा करना चाहूंगी। का नाम है रणछोड़ लाल छोटा लाल। आपको राय बहादुर की उपाधि के नाम से भी जाना जाता है। आप अहमदाबाद भारत में कपड़ा मिल उद्योग के अग्रणी थे। आपको आधुनिक अहमदाबाद के संस्थापक के रूप में भी जाना जाता है। जन्म 29 अप्रैल 1823 को सतोदरा नगर एक ब्राह्मण परिवार में हुआ था। पिता उद्देश शंकर तथा माता लाभबाई। आपने अपने जीवन का प्रारंभ सीमा शुल्क विभाग में एक वरिष्ठ मैन के रूप में किया था। 1853 ईस्वी में रिश्वत लेने के आरोप में नौकरी से बर्खास्त कर दिए जाने पर आपने इसे अपने अपमान को चुनौती के रूप में स्वीकार किया और एक व्यवसायी बन गए और एक मिल से शुरू करके धन जुटाने में आप काफी हद तक सक्षम रहे और साथ ही आपने एक बिजनेसमैन होने के साथ साथ अहमदाबाद में 1 लाख की प्रारंभिक पूंजी के साथ कपड़ा मिल खोलने का काम प्रारंभ किया। आपने अहमदाबाद स्पिनिंग एंड वीविंग कंपनी लिमिटेड नाम से अहमदाबाद में पहली एवं देश की दूसरी सूती मिल खोलने का निश्चय लिया। साथ ही आपने सन 1877 ईस्वी में दूसरा कपड़ा मिल भी प्रारंभ किया। आप दिनशाह मानेकाजी पेटिट के बाद दूसरे भारतीय थे जिन्होंने कपड़ा मिल का प्रारंभ भारत में प्रारंभ किया। अहमदाबाद शहर जो बाद में भारत के मैनचेस्टर के रूप में सामने आया। आपने 1885 में अहमदाबाद नगर पालिका के अध्यक्ष के रूप में पहले भारतीय व्यक्ति के रूप में कार्यभार को संभाला। आपने भूमिगत जल निकासी और जल आपूर्ति के कार्यों को अंजाम दिया जो कि ब्रिटिश भारत में अग्रणी कार्यों में से एक था। साथ ही आपने राजनीति महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका अदा की। आप 1885 से 1850 तक राष्ट्रपति के रूप में कार्यभार को संभाले। इस दौरान रूढ़िवादी समाज के खिलाफ खड़े होते हुए आपने सभी जातियों के लिए समान जल आपूर्ति पाइपलाइन लागू करने का निश्चय किया और उसमें समर्थ भी रहे। इसमें आपके मित्र दलपत राम ने आपकी बहुत ही अधिक सहायता की। साथ ही आपने 1890 से 1895 वर्षों के लिए बॉम्बे विधानसभा परिषद के सदस्य के रूप में नामित हुए। एक राष्ट्रवादी के रूप में आपने बॉम्बे विधानसभा परिषद में भारतीय कपड़े मिल पर लगने वाले अनुचित शुल्क का कड़ा विरोध किया। 1846 में अहमदाबाद के शुरुआती हाई स्कूल प्रारंभ किया। 1879 में रणछोड़ लाल छोटा लाल गुजरात कॉलेज की स्थापना की। बाद में वहां के संस्थापक के रूप में भी आगे गुजरात वर्नाकुलर सोसाइटी को एक गर्ल्स हाई स्कूल के रूप के लिए आपने पैसे भी दान दिए। 1865 ईस्वी में अहमदाबाद में पहला अस्पताल विक्टोरिया जुबली अस्पताल के नाम से आपने प्रारंभ किया। दूरदर्शी होने के नाते आपने वर्ष 1894 में अपने शहर को अन्य उद्यमियों लालपत भाई, गिरधर लाल, मोतीलाल, अमृत लाल के साथ मिलकर साबरमती को धौलेरा से जोड़ने के उद्देश्य से गुजरात नोमिनेशन कंपनी बनाई जो कि अहमदाबाद को समुद्र से जोड़ने का काम करती। हालांकि आपकी यह नीति ब्रिटिश सरकार द्वारा अनुमोदित कर दी गई। पहले आपको राय बहादुर की उपाधि, बाद में कंपनी ऑफ द ऑर्डर ऑफ द इंडियन एम्पायर के रूप में प्रतिष्ठा प्राप्त हुई। अक्टूबर 1898 में आपका देहावसान हो गया। आपकी मृत्यु के पश्चात आपके व्यवसाय एवं परोपकारी कार्यों को आपके पर होते चिन्नूबाई मोहम्मदलाल रणछोड़ लाल द्वारा आगे ले जाया गया, जो कि ब्रिटिश शासन काल में बैरोनेट बनाने वाले प्रथम भारतीय थे। चिन्नूबाई ने 1810 में दादा रछोड़दास छोटेलाल के संस्मरण में रछोड़लाल छोटेलाल तकनीकी संस्थान की स्थापना की, जो सूचना प्रौद्योगिकी, यांत्रिकी, विद्युत, कपड़ा कटाई, कपड़ा बुनाई में प्रमाण पत्र पाठ्यक्रम प्रदान करता है। वर्तमान में यह देश में एक उत्तम संस्थान के रूप में कार्यभार को अपने संभाल रहा है। आप एक उद्योगपति होने के साथ साथ अच्छे कार्यकर्ता, समाज सुधारक, समाज रक्षक भी रहे, जिन्होंने देश के लिए महत्वपूर्ण योगदान दिया। इन छोटे छोटे कार्यकर्ताओं को जानना भी हमें अति आवश्यक है, क्योंकि यह देश की नींव को तैयार करने के लिए अत्यंत ही महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका अदा करते हैं। इन्हीं शब्दों के साथ मैं इन्हें श्रद्धांजलि अर्पित करते हुए अपने वाणी को विराम देती हूँ। धन्यवाद।
Thank you, Amrita. The next documentary is on Madam Bhikaji Kama, and the documentary presented by Nandini Verma of BA second year.
मैं नंदिनी वर्मा सोशल साइंस सेकंड ईयर की छात्रा हूँ। मेरा ऑनर्स विषय भूगोल है। मेरे पिता का नाम श्री रामाशंकर वर्मा, माता का नाम श्रीमती बिंदु देवी है। आज मैं एक ऐसी महान नायिका के बारे में बताने जा रही हूँ जो एक स्वतंत्रता सेनानी तथा सच्ची देशभक्त थी। वह थी मैडम भीकाजी कामा। उन्होंने भारत के आदिध्वज को पहली बार वैश्विक मंच पर रखकर दुनिया को संभावित, स्वतंत्र और स्वायत्त देश के रूप में भारत के दस्तक का एहसास कराने वाली कामा साहस, वीरता और मजबूत इरादे की प्रतीक थी। विदेशों में भारत की सांस्कृतिक प्रतिनिधि कहे जाने वाली कामा ने स्वराज का नारा बुलंद किया। उन्होंने महिलाओं के हक के लिए भी आवाज उठाई। उनके मुखर और अहिंसक क्रांति से घबराए अंग्रेजों ने भी उनके भारत में प्रवेश पर पाबंदी लगा दी। उनके जीवन से जुड़े तथ्यों के मुताबिक उन्होंने अपना जीवन आजादी के लिए न्यौछावर कर दिया। मैडम भीकाजी कामा का जन्म 24 सितंबर 1861 में एक बड़े पारसी परिवार में हुआ था। उनके पिता स्वराज्य पटेल मुंबई के एक प्रसिद्ध व्यापारी थे तथा 1885 में पेशी के वकील रुस्तम जी कामा से उनका विवाह हुआ था। सामाजिक और राजकीय मुद्दों पर मतभेद होने के कारण दोनों के बीच मनमुटाव होना शुरू हो गया। रुस्तम जी कामा सोचते थे कि ब्रिटिशों ने भारत के लिए कई अच्छे काम किए हैं। वहीं भीकाजी कामा का मानना था कि ब्रिटिश ने अपने फायदे के लिए भारतीयों को लूटा है। मैडम भीकाजी कामा में मदद और सेवा करने का जज्बा कूट-कूट कर भरा था। 1896 में मुंबई प्रेसिडेंसी में पहले प्लेग फैलने के बाद उन्होंने पूरी लगन से रोगियों की सेवा की। बाद में वह खुद इस बीमारी की चपेट में आ गई, लेकिन बीमारी का इलाज कराने के बाद वह ठीक हो गई और आगे के इलाज के लिए उन्हें यूरोप जाने की सलाह दी गई। 1902 में वह लंदन गई और वापस नहीं आई, क्योंकि ब्रिटिशों ने उनके सामने शर्त रखी कि वे तब तक भारत नहीं लौट सकती जब तक वे भारतीय राष्ट्रवादी गतिविधियों में भाग लेती रहेंगी। इसलिए वह जीवन भर लंदन में रहकर राष्ट्रवाद को बढ़ावा देती रही और भारत वापस नहीं लौटी, क्योंकि उन्हें यह शर्त स्वीकार नहीं था। भीकाजी कामा ने 21 अगस्त 1907 को इंटरनेशनल सोशलिस्ट कॉन्फ्रेंस जर्मनी के स्टुटगार्ट में, जहां लगभग 1000 अलग अलग देशों के प्रतिनिधि उपस्थित थे, वहां उन्होंने भारतीय झंडा फहराया और बोले, यह आजाद भारत का झंडा है। मैं उपस्थित सभी सज्जनों से निवेदन करती हूँ कि वे उठें और इसे सलाम करें। उनकी बात सभी ने मान ली। जर्मनी में फहराया वह झंडा इस वक्त पुणे के मराठा एवं केसरी लाइब्रेरी में स्थित है। कामा दुनिया के सामने ब्रिटिश राज में हो रहे भारत के शोषण को उजागर करना चाहते थे। इसलिए वह पूरे यूरोप में घूम घूम कर भारतीय राष्ट्रवाद तथा भारतीय संघर्ष का गुणगान करते रहे। स्वराज के लिए उन्होंने आवाज उठाई तथा नारा दिया, हम भारत के लिए हैं और भारत भारतीयों के लिए है। उन्नीस सौ पैंतीस तक यूरोप में भटकते रहने के बाद उनका पूरा शरीर थक गया और उनको लकवे का शिकार होना पड़ा। तब उन्होंने भारत वापस लौटने के लिए ब्रिटिश गवर्नर को एक मैंने वक्त पूरे के मराठा एवं में घूम घूमकर भारतीय राष्ट्रवाद पैंतीस तक यूरोप में भटकते रहने के बाद उनका पूरा शरीर थक गया और उनको लकवे का शिकार होना पड़ा। तब उन्होंने भारत वापस लौटने के लिए ब्रिटिश गवर्नर को एक पिटीशन दिया और वह पिटीशन मंजूर हुआ। 33 साल बाद नवंबर 1935 को 74 वर्ष की भिकाजी का मां मुंबई वापस आए, लेकिन इसके 9 महीने बाद ही यानी 13 अगस्त 1936 को उनका निधन हो गया। 1960 में भारतीय तटरक्षक ने एक पेट्रोल रिजर्व का नाम दिया जो ICGS भिकाजी कामा के नाम से जाना जाता है तथा भिकाजी कामा के नाम से सरकार ने एक डाक टिकट जारी किया। भारत के वीर विक्रम बनी जाने वाली मैडम भिकाजी कामा उन अनूठे देशभक्त तथा स्वतंत्रता सेनानियों में एक है जो आज बुढ़ापे के अंधेरे में खो गई, लेकिन उस वीरांगना महिला को कभी भुलाया जा सकता। उनको मेरा सत नमन। धन्यवाद।
Thank you, Nandini. The next documentary is on Dr. V.K.R.V. Rao, and the presenter is Divyanshi Raj from BA third year.
My humble greetings to our Honorable Principal Ma'am and to all our respected professors. Myself, Divyanshi Raj, student of Economics in third year from Vasanta College for Women. As we know, we are here to celebrate those unsung heroes who played a phenomenal role in the process of nation building and in shaping the destiny of our mother.
Is this documentary is audible?
Devotion as bricks in its foundation.
Yes, ma'am, it's audible.
Yes.
I have the honor of presenting one such hero who was a prominent economist, politician, student builder, and educationist. Yes, I'm talking about Dr. V.K.R.V. Rao, often considered as the father of Indian national income accounting, who has founded three most prominent economic institutions of our country. It's the Delhi School of Economics, Delhi, Institute of Economic Growth, Delhi, Institute of Social and Economic Change, Bangalore, and the one who studied under John Maynard Keynes and influenced our former Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru on his socialist model of economic growth. So let us have a brief look on his extraordinary life and his contribution towards our nation. Vijayendra Kasturi Rak Varadaraja Rao, born on 8th July 1908 in a Kannada-speaking Brahmin family in Tamil Nadu. He did his graduation and masters from Bombay University and then proceeded to Cambridge University for bachelor's and PhD under John Maynard Keynes. On the most debated issue of the time, the national income of British India, published in 1940, preceded by an essay on India's national income 1936, which was considered to be the first national account department, for which he won 14 national and international prizes, such as the Adam Smith Award, Lord Minto Scholarship, etc. In 1948, he founded Delhi School of Economics on the lines of London School of Economics, with the aid of Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru. Later, in 1952, he founded the Institute of Economic Growth in Delhi, and in 72 Institute of Social and Economic Change in Bangalore, which is an autonomous, interdisciplinary and advanced research center for social science, and also which is now being used as the training center for young Indian Economic Service officers. He also played a key role in the formation of Agroeconomic and Population Research Center, along with Central Institute of Indian Languages, MESO, and Indian Institute of Foreign Trade as well in Delhi. He also had a prominent political career, being a cabinet minister in Indira Gandhi government in 1971. He was Education and Youth Service Minister, and he had been elected twice for Lok Sabha in 1967 and 76, and had been a prominent member of Planning Commission as well. The latter, Dr. Manmohan Singh credited him for strengthening higher education and research opportunity in economics in our country. He also put forward the thorough analysis of socialism to fit into Indian context in his book Gandhian Alternative to Western Socialism. And during the upsurge of regional movement for linguistic states, he expressed the consequences and solution in his book Many Languages, One Nation, The Problem of Integration of India. So, based on his outstanding overall contribution, he was awarded Padma Vibhushan in 1974 and afterwards National Professorship in 1985 till his precious days in 1991 at the age of 83. As he himself once said that we all have to die one day, alternative but our nation and the effort towards keeping it alive should never die. At the same lines, his work, ideas, continues to enlighten us. In one hand, he shared his ideas of work ethics when he lists legal elements constituting economic activity should be greater instinct, self-respect, dignity, foundation and character to art of work along with the monetary gain of course. An activity which his personality cannot be called economic. He always opposed rigorous materialism in the name of economy and added social and spiritual aspects of economic well for all-round development of human welfare. On the other hand, his concrete analysis of pre and post conditions for currency and taxation system helped us formulate further national policies. Magnanimous contribution to Indian economy not to be surprising. This work has been to link values to economic growth, introducing new services, efficient education system, along with effective journalism, bad regionalism, therapy, versus national. Now, in the 21st century, it is high time that we apply Dr. Rao's idea of value judgment, ethics, character building, and spiritual aspect to economics. With this, I express my heartfelt gratitude and tribute this extraordinary yet unsung hero of ours. Thank you. Dhanyavad.
Thank you, Devyanshi. The next documentary is on Jagdish Bhagwati, and the presenter is Tanushri Chakravarti from BA third year Economics Honors.
Good morning to one and all present here. I am Tanushri Chakravarti of BA third year from Economics Department. Today, I am privileged to present to you all the contribution of unsung heroes of economics. Friends, the economics we see today is far more modified than what it was in 1777. Many economists had their significant contribution in its growth. Economists like Adam Smith, Gado, Malthus, Amartya Sen, Manmohan Singh, etc. are some notable figures of this field. But what about those who have not been recognized by the world? They are the unsung heroes who also have significant contribution to this subject. Today, I am going to discuss one such personality with you all. He is Jagdish Bhagwati. Jagdish Bhagwati is an Indian American economist. He is a neoclassical economist born in 1934 in Gujarati family, the Bombay Presidency. He received his BCom from Sydenham College, Mumbai, and BA in economics from St. John's College, Cambridge. He received his PhD from MIT for his thesis titled Essays in International Economics. After his PhD, Bhagwati returned to India in 1961 to teach at Indian Statistical Institute, Kolkata, and then as a professor in international trade at Delhi School of Economics. He was also an economics professor at MIT from 1968 to 1980. He is regarded as one of the foremost international trade theorists of his generation. His very first article, Emercerizing Growth, a geometrical note published in the Review of Economic Studies in 1958, is regarded classic and spawned a large body of literature. In the article, he showed that growth that expanded countries' export sector could so drastically worsen its terms of trade as to actually lower its real income and welfare. Bhagwati's most influential scientific contribution is Domestic Distortion, Tariff and Theory of Optimum Subsidy, written jointly with V.K. Ramaswamy. It had pointed out that when domestic distortions such as unionized wage or externalities existed, there was no guarantee that free trade would be superior to autarky. They demonstrated that once an appropriate policy was adopted to eliminate the existing distortion, the case for free trade was restored. Currently, Bhagwati is foremost advocate of free trade. Critics argue that he only cares about free trade and does not pay attention to social issues such as labor and environmental standards, income equality, and gender gap the importance they deserve. Yet such criticisms are the result of a superficial reading of his writings. Bhagwati also wrote many books. His writing includes Free Trade Theory, In Defense of Globalization, Why Growth Matters, India's Rise to Destiny, etc. He was also awarded with many honors, such as Mahananobi's Memorial Medal of the Indian Econometric Society, Fellow of American Academy of Arts and Science, Seidman Distinguished Award in International Political Economics, Padma Vibhushan, Lifetime Achievement Award of Indian Chamber of Commerce, Order of Rising Sun, Gold, Silver Star, etc. At last, I want to say that Jagdish Bhagwati is also a significant figure of this field who had not been recognized by the world the way he deserved to. He has also made notable contribution in this field and made this subject what it is today. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanushree. The next presenter is Urvashi Singh from BA third year, and her documentary is on Dadabhai Naroji.
I'm a Hindu, a Muslim, a Parsi, but above all, an Indian first. These are the golden words quoted by Sir Dadabhai Naroji, the grand old man of India and the father of nationalism. And today, I, Unisha Singh, a student of BA Economics Honors, feel fortunate enough to get this opportunity of elaborating the story of a true legend whose legacy will continue till eternity. Sir Dadabhai Naroth was the first Indian Asian to become a member of the British Parliament, the first Indian to start an Indian company in Britain, first Indian to become a professor at the British Princeton Institute in Mumbai, the first Indian who exposed British rule by his work, poverty, and unbritish rule in India, the first Indian who founded the East India Association and co-founded Indian National Congress, first Indian who gave us the word of home rule, Swaraj, the great leader who was the mentor of Vasanta, Gopal Krishna Gokhale, and Mohandas Karamchand, the legendary leader who has roles named in his honor in three colonies, India, Pakistan, and Britain. A man whom father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi, called the father of the nation, the grand old man of India, Dadabhai Naroji. Dadabhai Naroji, the grand old man of Indian nationalism and father of Indian freedom struggle, was a legend with a multi-dimensional personality, an intellectual, educator, economist, writer, journalist, businessman, early Indian political leader, member of parliament, social reformer, pioneer in many fields. Right from propagating the green theory to encapsulating the whole British rule in a book named Poverty and Unbritish Rule in India, Sir Naroji is a true economist who propagated nationalism for the good. Dadabhai Naroji, whose book Poverty and Unbritish Rule in India was published in 1901. This was a compilation of the 30 years of detailed research and papers that Naroji, a mathematician by training, had published on how British policies had led to lower productivity, a drain of wealth, and devastation across the world. While other nationalist leaders had alluded to the fact that British rule had crippled India's economy, it was Naroji who managed to expand on it back by strong data, statistics, and hard numbers which he collated from across the country. The numbers were staggering. In 1867, Naroji had calculated that British rule had resulted till then in the transfer of 1.6 billion pounds from the subcontinent. He claimed that the trade continued unabated. Britain managed to siphon off at least 33 million pounds each year from India. Naroji was also perhaps the first person to try and calculate the per capita income of each Indian. In 1871, based on his estimates, India's GDP was around 200 billion pounds. He surmised that the average per capita income of each Indian of that time was just about 27, perhaps 40 shillings. This was around 25 times lower than the income of an average Britisher. Naroji's analysis took much effort and was met with great cynicism in Britain. But the data and research he collected and the conclusion he drew did stand the test of time. This book remains a seminal work of the period and continues to shape debates and discussions even today. In fact, it is telling that ROG is today more often remembered as the man who penned the term drain of wealth. Fewer remember him as the first man of color to win an election in Britain and sit in the House of Commons way back in 1892.
Thank you, Urvashi. The next presenter is Janvi from BCom second year, and her presentation is on Tara Rani Srivastava.
I am Vipati from second year, Vasanta College for Women, Rajghat, Varanasi. बहुत ही आजादी के अमृत महोत्सव में अपनी तरफ से का अवसर प्राप्त हुआ है। ये विचार सच्चा है। तो आइए शुरू करते हैं। बहुत ही दुख की बात है तुम्हें हमारे भारत में 200 सालों तक राष्ट्र ये गर्व है और वो अपने जीवन का बलिदान कर आदमी के साथ हमारे भारत माता अधिकार किया था। उन्हीं की वीरांगनाओं से कुछ तो ऐसे हैं जिन्हें हम बहुत अच्छे से जानते हैं, किंतु कुछ ऐसे हैं जो नारी के अंधेरे में कहीं दुख से हो गए। उन्हीं वीरांगनाओं में से एक वीरांगना है तारा रानी श्रीवास्तव, जिनके बलिदान को नारी के अंधेरे से बाहर निकाल कर प्रकाशित करना चाहती हूँ और उसे आप सभी के सामने प्रस्तुत करना चाहती हूँ। तो आइए इसके बारे में हम जरा करीब से जानते हैं। तारा रानी श्रीवास्तव का जन्म भारतीय राजधानी पटना के निकट सारण जिले में हुआ था। उनका विवाह छोटी उम्र में ही बिंदु बाबू से हो गया था। ये पति एक समय था। उनका विवाह तभी से उनका तारा रानी श्रीवास्तव अपने पति की बात जैसे भक्ति और अपने देश के प्रति अपार श्रद्धा और भक्ति। वे अपने पति के साथ स्वतंत्रता की लड़ाई में उनसे कदम से कदम मिलाकर ही चली गई। जिस समय महिलाओं को चार दीवारी में बंद करके उन्हें जीना सिखाया जाता था, उसी समय वे गांव गांव घूमकर सभी महिलाओं को आजादी की लड़ाई में भाग लेती। जब अंग्रेजों का अत्याचार इतना बढ़ गया कि भारतवासियों करना असंभव हो गया, तब महात्मा गांधी ने 8 अगस्त 1942 को भारत छोड़ो आंदोलन का आगाज किया। इस आंदोलन का मुख्य उद्देश्य था करो या मरो। उस समय महात्मा गांधी जी ने ये बात स्वीकार की। इस आंदोलन के दौरान गांव ने 100 से अधिक भाग लिया था और वे उस समय अपने भारत देश को आजादी दिलाने के लिए किसी भी हद तक करने को तैयार थे। इस समय तारा रानी जी के पति बिंदु बाबू रंग लहराने के लिए मान खाने की तरफ जन सैलाब के साथ बढ़ चले। इस जन सैलाब का नेतृत्व तारा रानी जी कर रही थी। वे आगे बढ़ते चले गए। जब वे थाना के सामने पहुंचे तो वहां पे पुलिस ने दिखाई दे इनका विरोध करना शुरू कर दिया। उन्हें बहुत प्रयास किया कि जन सैलाब लाठीचार्ज किए, उन पर लाठीचार्ज करके उनको डंडे से बहुत चोटने लगी। इसका मनोबल नहीं टूटा कि आगे बढ़ते चले गए। इसने गोलियां बरसाना शुरू कर दिया। से तारा रानी जी के प्रति को और दिखाया गया। तारा रानी जी को देखकर के बहुत कष्ट हुआ। वो उनके पास आए और उनके घायल अंग को अपनी साड़ी का गले फाड़ कर उससे बांध दिया। एक नवविवाहित स्त्री को अपने पति को ऐसे खून में लथपथ देखकर उन पर क्या बीती होगी, उन्हें कितना कष्ट हुआ होगा, ये सोचकर भी हृदय कांप जाता है।
फिर भी उनका मनोबल नहीं टूटा। वे हिम्मत के साथ आगे बढ़े और उन्होंने अपने पति का अंतिम संस्कार भी किया। 15 अगस्त 1942 को छपरा में उनके पति द्वारा किए गए बलिदान के सम्मान में वहां पर एक प्रार्थना सभा रखी गई और तारा रानी जी ने वहां अपने मजबूत हृदय का परिचय दिया। उस प्रधान समाज में ये मानते हैं लोग कि औरतें बिना पति के सहारे कुछ नहीं कर सकती। जब तक पति उन्हें मजबूती से आगे बढ़ने की प्रेरणा नहीं देता, उन्हें आगे बढ़ने के लिए प्रेरित नहीं करता, तब तक एक स्त्री आगे नहीं बढ़ सकती। मतलब अपने पति के सहारे के बिना एक स्त्री अकेले आगे नहीं बढ़ सकती। लेकिन तारा रानी जी ने इस कथन को झूठा साबित किया। मृत्यु के बाद भी तारा रानी 15 अगस्त 1947 को महात्मा गांधी के आंदोलन का एक अहम हिस्सा बनी रही और उन्होंने भारत को स्वतंत्रता दिलाने के स्वप्न को सफलतापूर्वक पूरा किया। जय हिंद।
Thank you, Janvi. The next documentary is a team documentary, and it is a team Nush, which consists Anushka Singh and Sushma Jaiswal from BCom second year, and the documentary title is Contribution of G.D. Birla.
Hello everyone, this is Team Nush, and I am one of the team members, Ushma Jaiswal. Today we have unleashed a great memory, and the name of the memory is Ghanshyam Das Birla. We really wanted to show his contribution towards independence. Please look forward towards our documentary video, and here's my teammate to introduce herself. Thank you.
Hello everyone, this is Anushka Singh. We are really glad to present this video in front of you all. As a student of BCom second year, please look forward to our video.
Ghanshyam Das Birla, also known as G.D. Birla, was born on 10th April 1894 at Pilani town in Chunchunu district in the Indian state, then known as Rajputna, as a member of the Maheshwari Marwari community. His father was Raja Baldeva Das Birla. There were 4 brothers, namely Jugal Kishore, Rameshwar Das, Ghanshyam Das, and Braj Mohan. G.D. Birla inherited the family business and moved to further diversify them into other areas. He wanted to turn money-lending business into manufacturing. So he left for Calcutta in Bengal Presidency, the world's largest jute producing region, where he began as an independent jute broker. As it is known, British government were rarely biased towards local Bengali jute merchants. Hence, G.D. Birla was also not an exception. He faced many obstacles where the government tried to shut his business unethically, but he was able to preserve it. When World War I resulted in supply problems throughout the British Empire, his business skyrocketed. With rupees 5 million worth investment in 1990, Birla Brothers, today known as Aditya Birla Group, was formed. A mill was set up in Gwalior at the same year. In 1940s, he ventured into the territory of cars and established Hindustan Motors. After independence, he also invested in tea and textile, though a series of acquisitions, and expanded into cement and chemical industries. Back in 1926, he was elected to the Central Legislative Assembly of British India and became the founding president of Harijan Sevak Sangh, founded by Mahatma Gandhi in 1932. He also participated in Quit India movement actively. During these years with Mahatma Gandhi, G.D. Birla conceived the idea of organizing a commercial bank with Indian capital and management. And the United Commercial Bank, or UCO Bank, was incorporated to give shape to that idea. Sadly, on 11th June 1983, we lost such auspicious and great personality. But what he left was his teachings and the lifestyle, his beliefs. He inspired us to not give up, to keep trying, even though the circumstances are not in your favor. He used to put his country first. He was selfless. This should be used as an inspiration for the present and future generation to return the favors given by this country, given by Mother India. Ghanshyam Das Birla has given this country a huge boon in the manufacturing industry. As he used to say, all the treasure in the world is worthless unless you have someone to share it with.
Thank you, Team Nush. Now, the next documentary is on Professor P.R. Brahmananda, and the documentary made by Kritika Gupta of BA second year.
Documentary on Professor P.R. Brahmananda, an erudite economist, a prolific writer, and an unsung hero of Indian economy. Professor Pallahalli Ramaya Brahmananda was born on 27th September 1926 in Bangalore. His father, P.R. Ramaya, was a well-known freedom fighter of Mysore and also a renowned Kannada journalist. And his mother, P.R. Jayalakshmi Amma, was a deputy mayor of Bangalore. Brahmananda had pursued his graduation from Maharaja's College, University of Mysore, and later he joined University of Bombay for his higher studies. Professor Brahmananda had initiated his career as a research assistant to Professor C. N. Vakil. He worked as an RBI leader and established as the first RBI professor of monetary economics in Department of Economics, University of Mumbai. During his lifetime, he had served himself as the president of Director of Bombay School of Economics, president of the Indian Economic Association, president of the Society of Labour Economics, and also the president of International Economic Association. Professor Brahmananda had also worked as a visiting professor at the Delhi School of Economics and as the honorary fellow at the Institute of Social and Economic Change and the Indian Statistical Institute, Bangalore. He had also worked as a research fellow at the University Grants Commission and Indian Council of Social Science Research. He had also worked as a managing editor of the Indian Economics Journal. He was a true scholar who summarized through every page of the writings of every economist of the world, right at least up to 1990 as a prolific writer. Being a prolific writer for more than 5 decades, his writings make a fascinating story. He has a credit for nearly 30 books and more than 600 articles. Some of his famous works are Planning for a Shortage Economy, Planning for an Expanding Economy, Studies in the Economics of Welfare Maximization, Planning for a Wage Goods Economy, a Framework for an Optimum Monetary and Banking System. The contributions of Professor P.R. Brahmananda in Indian economy can't be neglected. He had worked in almost all the branches of economics, but his major contribution was in the field of monetary economics and welfare economics. His research work was mostly concentrated on the reconstruction of classical economics for the modern period of the developing countries such as India. Professor Brahmananda had expanded and deepened the new classical economic theory. In spite of being worked extraordinarily hard in the field of economics, Professor Brahmananda was outshined and made a name after developing his celebrated wage goods model of 1955-56 in association with Professor C. N. Vakil as an alternative to the heavy industry strategy by P. C. Mahalanobis. In their book Planning for an Expanding Economy, 1956, Professor Vakil and Professor Brahmanand attributed the prevailing poverty and unemployment to the existence of wage goods gap by their wage goods model. The basics of wage goods model was that lower per capita income and real consumption coexist under utilization of the full potential of labor, or what he termed as normal work efficiency potential. Unfortunately, his wage goods strategy was rejected, and instead the Mahalanobis strategy was accepted by the Planning Commission for the second and third five-year plan. But fifth five-year plan onwards, the planners officially accepted one component of the wage goods strategy, as the removal of poverty. Later on, some other components were also accepted. In 1974, Professor also took the lead in the preparation of a memorandum to the Government of India on measures to bring down the rising rate of inflation, a daunting task of collecting monetary data for the 19th century. Professor Brahmanand had also dealt with several aspects of Indian economy. His ideas were compiled and took the shape of a body of thought, popularly known as the Bombay School of Thought. Brahmanand was one and only Indian economist to write about the inapplicability of Keynesian economics on developing countries such as India. On 23rd January 2003, that unsung hero of the Indian economic world took his last breath at the age of 76 years. Very few realized that his invisible hands worked ultimately for the best interest of the young persons. The prolific mind of Professor Brahmananda made him a permanent name in the history of institution building in India. He was the man of varied facets who lived his life like a sage and inspired generations of students, many of whom have distinguished themselves in the areas of public policy.
Thank you, Kritika. The next documentary is on Unsung Entrepreneur, and the documentary made by Khushi Kumari of BA second year, and she has taken Osam Dairy.
Hello everyone, I'm Khushi Kumari,
a student of psychology honors, second year at Vasanta College for Women, Rajghat. I live in an undeveloped state, Jharkhand, but I'm so proud to see people here working so hard to turn their underdeveloped state to a developed one. People coming out with the new business ideas for helping the state to grow. Today, I would like to share a story of a such entrepreneur who have worked so hard and smart to grow their business to the top. So let's get started. Mohotsav, the journey begins. In world's second most populated country, this is the story of an undeveloped state, Jharkhand. This is the story about how four friends built a rupees 100 crore turnover business starting with a cow farm. Four friends from Jharkhand shut their cooperative shops and decided to do something different. They pooled in their savings and bought cows. This is a risk that paid off, and so within 5 years, their business has milled out a turnover of over rupees 100 crore, becoming one of the most popular brands in the state.
Future in terms of strong market presence, customer acceptance of our products, formidable sales channel, and a great team. Over the next 12 to 18 months, we will continue to grow and consolidate our presence in our home market, Jharkhand. Simultaneously, we will work on our mission to become a regional player by expanding our footprint.
Mohsen Dairy is currently present in 19 districts and works with 140 distributors and over 3,000 retailers across Jharkhand. From 4, they are now 270 people strong and their team is only getting stronger.
And we have around 107 now distributors in our city who are servicing to around 2,500 retailers as of now.
It all started in 2012 when the four partners come friends Abhinav Shah, Harsh Thakur, Rakesh Sharma, and Abhishek Raj found themselves at the same junction in life, bored of their jobs and wanted to do something of their own. After becoming CAs in 2004, the trio Abhinav, Abhishek, and Rakesh worked for different multinational companies with a very handsome salary. It was Abhishek who first thought of the whole thing. He was working with a multinational company as a manager. In 2011, at a fat package of around rupees 40 lakhs per annum when the idea struck him. The idea came at the right time when all four of them were ready to try something new. They were bitten with the same bug to start something of their own and make it big. The ask wasn't little, but they were ready to make the dive. They pooled in rupees 1 crore for the new business, with each contributing an equal share from their savings.
We take a lot of pride in communicating this growth, our plan setup, and our brand creation over a period of last 1.5 years. But we take a bigger pride in communicating with you the impacts and involvement which we had over the lives of the people who are engaged with us. In the last 1.5 years, we have grown from a network of 2,000 farmers to 12,000 farmers. We experience a fourfold increase in the employee strength, the kinds of indirect employment which you have created. We are aware of the impacts which our work has on the environment.
They got an FSSI license to sell dairy products, but business was slow in the beginning. Initially, they started selling unbranded raw milk by doing home delivery in 3 localities of Ranchi. They reached a turnover of around 26 lakh in first financial year. Soon, they sold their dairy farm and the cows, and their new plant started functioning in April 2015. Received the Best Young Dairy Award from the Jharkhand government in 2013.
It's a testament of this motto. We actually aspire to become one of the most valued companies in the sector.
The boys are all set to turn their company into a 500 crore revenue by 2022. They have also expanded their business to the neighboring state of Bihar.
मौसम का काम लगभग मैं 1 सालों से कर रहा हूँ। इसका मार्केट में फीडबैक बहुत अच्छा है, कस्टमर इसे पसंद कर रहे हैं और इसका काम करने में हम लोगों को भी अच्छा लगता है क्योंकि इसका रिस्पॉन्स बहुत अच्छा मिल रहा है हम लोगों को।
हमको रोज लेते हैं चावल से बनाते हैं, उसमें ये बहुत अच्छा उसका ही कलर भी आता है। पनीर भी खाए हैं, दूध भी कर रहे हैं, सब पनीर भी बहुत अच्छा है।
तो औरत घर में मोबाइल रख ले है, आया दुआ पहुंचा दिया।
अपने गांव में
अपना गांव में दिया, फिर उसको बाजार से जाना नहीं।
पहले बाजार जाते थे तो पैसा नहीं मिलता था, पैसा नहीं मिलने के कारण उठा बाजार के चापता था उसको, तो पैसा दो, पैसा नहीं देता था, झगड़ा होता था, केस मुकदमा होता था। अब गांव में हो जाने से बढ़िया है, बहुत सुविधा है, डायरिया भी बढ़िया है, 10 दिन में पैसा भी मिल जाता है, किसान लोग के बहुत सुविधा है।
अगर बीच में हमको जो है इसी तरह रोग बीमारी दुख जो भी वैसा अगर जरूरी पड़ गया रुपया का, तो ये जो समिति है उससे जब भी हम रुपया खोजते हैं रुपया मिल जाता है, यही सुविधा होती है।
About the mantra for success, the Ford enormously say that they have never compromised quality and always try to give the best product to the consumer. Thank you.
Thank you, Khushi. Really, it was a wonderful presentation. Now, the next presenter is Komal Chaurasia. She is a student of BA third year Economics Honors, and her documentary is on Mr. G.D. Birla.
Hello, everyone. Myself, Komal Chaurasia, a student of BA Social Science Economic Honors. I am going to present a documentary on a reformer, industrialist and entrepreneur, Ghanshyam Das Birla. Ghanshyam Das Birla was a reformer, an industrialist and above all a nationalist, known for his entrepreneurial spirit and considered a doyen of Indian industry. He led the foundation of the Birla Empire. Ghanshyam Das was born on 10th April 1894 at Pilai town in Jhunjhun district in the Indian state, then known as Rajputana, as a member of the Maheshwari Marwari community. His father was Raja Baldev Das Birla. Baldev Das Birla and his wife had 4 sons, Jugal Kishore, Rameshwar Das, Ghanshyam Das Birla and Braj Mohan Birla. Ghanshyam Das Birla inherited the family business and moved to further diversify them into other areas. Of these, at least 3 contemporary family business groups existing in India today can trace their ancestry to him. Of these business, he wanted to turn the money lending business into manufacturing. So, he left for Calcutta in Bengal Presidency, the world's largest jute producing region. There, he began independently as a jute broker. In 1918, he established Birla Jute Mills, much to the consternation of established European merchants, whom the biased policies of the British government favored other than the local Bengali merchants. He had to scale a number of obstacles as the British and Scottish merchants tried to set his business by unethical and monopolistic methods. But he was able to persevere when World War I resulted in supply problems. Throughout the British Empire, Birla's business skyrocketed. With an investment of Rs 5 million in 1919, the Birla Brothers Limited was formed. A mill was set up in Gwalior in the same year. In 1926, he was elected to the Central Legislative Assembly of British India. He became the founding president of Harijan Sevak Sangh founded by Mahatma Gandhi in 1932. In the 1940s, he ventured into the territory of cars and established Hindustan Motors. After independence, Birla invested in tea and textiles through a series of acquisitions of former European companies. He also expanded and diversified into cement, chemicals, rayon, and steel tubes. Ghanshyam Das Birla, during the Quit India movement of 1942, had conceived the idea of organizing a commercial bank with Indian capital and management, and the United Commercial Bank Limited was incorporated to give shape to the idea. UCO Bank, formerly United Commercial Bank, established in 1943 in Kolkata, is one of the oldest and major commercial bank of India. He invested in infrastructural development in his hometown. Birla founded the Birla Engineering College renamed as Birla Institute of Technology and Science in 1964 in Pilani and the Technological Institute of Textile and Science in Bhiwani, among other educational institutions in 1943. In 1957, he was awarded India's second highest civilian honor, the Padma Vibhushan, by the Government of India. Ghanshyam Das Birla was a close associate and a steady supporter of Mahatma Gandhi, who he met for the first time in 1916. Gandhi stayed at Birla's home in New Delhi during the last 4 months of his life. Ghanshyam Das Birla has remarried after the death of his first wife. He had three sons: Lakshmi Nivas, son of his first wife Durga Devi; Krishna Kumar and Vasant Kumar, both sons of his second wife Mahadevi Birla. Kumar Mangalam Birla is his great-grandson. Lakshmi Nivas was technically adopted by his older brother Jugal Kishore. And there are some writings by Ghanshyam Das Birla. His writings are mainly collections of memories, letters, essays, and lectures, like Diary के कुछ पन्ने in 1940, रुपए की कहानी in 1948, बापू 1941, कुछ देखा कुछ सुना in 1966, रूप और स्वरूप चार विचार प्रेरक निबंध in 1960, Paths to Prosperity in 1950, In the Shadows of the Mahatma, a personal memoir in Calcutta 1953. Ghanshyam Das Birla died in London on 11 June 1983 at the age of 89. There is a memorial to him in a Golders Green Crematorium, Hoop Lane, London. It comprises a large statue overlooking the gardens with an inscription. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Komal. The next documentary is on Lokmanya Bal Gangadhar Tilak, and the documentary made by Neetu Pal. She is a student of MA Economics final year.
One of the first and strongest advocates of Swaraj or self-rule, Bal Gangadhar Tilak, the father of Indian national movement, was born on 23rd July 1850. Tilak's slogan during the freedom struggle, Swaraj is my birthright and I shall have, inspired millions of people. Tilak was blessed with a multi-dimensional personality, a scholar of Sanskrit, a philosopher, astromathematician, writer, journalist, early Indian political leader, educator, and
Just a moment.
one of the first and strongest advocates of Swaraj or self-rule, Bal Gangadhar Tilak, the father of Indian national movement, was born on 23rd July 1850. Tilak's slogan during the freedom struggle, Swaraj is my birthright and I shall have, inspired millions of people. Tilak was blessed with a multi-dimensional personality. He is scholar of Sanskrit, a philosopher, astro-mathematician, writer, journalist, early Indian political leader, educator, and all and above an unsung economist. Lokmanya Tilak launched two newspapers, the Kesari and the Maratha, in year 1881. In this newspaper, he expressed his view and awakened the masses. People become more aware of evil practices of Britishers. Tilak did not receive any specialized training in economics, but as a political leader, he wrote many articles on economic problem of India. Tilak criticized the official tariff, trade, transport, and taxation policy as obstruction instead of promoting the growth of the industry. Tilak wrote about the increase of import during the British period. He also pointed out that British government had not taken any effort to increase industries or industrial research. In October 1906, Lokmanya Tilak wrote an article in history. He stressed the importance that the Indian trader will not flourish unless the Indian establish their own bank. These articles encouraged the establishment of Swadesi Bank and Bank of India. Tilak stated that British government made value-based increasing tax system. This system increased the value of British goods, result reduced the Indian export. This import discouraged Indian industry, increasing unemployment and decreased national value. That was quoted again and opposed large of foreign land. Lokmanya Tilak considered market as the backbone of economy. During 1885, the minimum benefit of he accepted the concept of economic prosperity, economical growth, industrial growth, different aspects of agriculture like seed, farmers, landlord, taxation, famine, marketing of agriculture products. Tilak supported the cooperative movement in India. The main objective behind this was to raise a hub fund for industrial development by collecting money from the people and strengthen the Indian industries. During August and September 1892, Tilak wrote a series of articles on a problem of Indian currency that was then devailing the Indian economy. These series of articles dealt with the institution of money, monetary policy, metallic currency, currency standard, price level, and its relation to the money. He also wrote two articles in Kesari titled Gold and Silver Coin on 27 September 1892 and Silver Rupia and Pound on 4th July 1892. In this article, Tilak explained the procedure of manufacturing coin with real metal like gold and silver in 18th century. The joint political program of boycott and Swadesi suggested by Tilak were aimed to generating indigenous and independent economic development of the nation. Tilak accepted Dadabhai Naoroji's economic range story and criticized the government for ruthlessly exploiting the resources of the country. Tilak believed economical independence is necessary for upliftment of the country. It is rightly said by him, life is all about a card game. Choosing a right card is not in our hand, but playing well with these cards in hand determines our success. This courageous leader breathed his last in Bombay, August 1st, 1920. The father of nation, Mahatma Gandhi, called him maker of modern India. We called him Lion of Marathas. The value and morals that Bal Gangadhar Tilak propagated during his time stand still even in the 21st century of Indian society.
Thank you, Neetu. The next presenter is Anshima Kanojia, and she has taken the topic Dr. B.R. Ambedkar.
Welcome to documentary video representation of the great economics in India, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Myself, Anshima Kanojia of BA Second Year Economics Honours Student of Vasanta College or Women, Rajghat, Varanasi. B.R. Ambedkar was born on 14th April 1891 in Mao, MP. He cleared matriculations from the Keystone High Education in 1908. He studied economics from the Columbia University, New York. He was also awarded doctorate degree in economics in the University of Columbia in 8 June 1927. He was appointed by the first law minister of independent India. He was made the chairman of the Constitution Drafting Committee and considered as the chief architect of Indian Constitution. As an economist, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, a quote said by Dr. Amrit, Ambedkar is my father in economics. His contribution in the field of economics was marvelous, and we will remember him forever, and also by our PM Narendra Modi. The more we will recall Ambedkar through the context of issue currently faced by India, the more we come to respect his vision and approach. Ambedkar's contribution to Indian economics. First phase, as a student and professor, he contributed in economics in the form of article, many documentary representation. In second phase, as a professional economist, in addressing Indian economics problem and in managing economics affairs of the country. Contribution to public finance. First, administration and finance of the East India Company. Amrit thesis submitted to the Columbia University. Second, the evolution of provincial finance in British India. PhD thesis submitted to the Columbia University. Monetary economics, the problem of rupee, its origin and its solution, and statement and evidence before the Royal Commission on India Currency and Finance in 1926. In first part of the book, Ambedkar discussed how the currency evolved over the period of 1800 to 1920. So, silver currency, gold standard and gold exchange standard. In the second part, we discussed the ideal system of the currency. Ambedkar and formation of RBI. He passed RBI Act 1934 to equality, caste, women, etc. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anshima. The next documentary title is Divyaya, The Wing of Willpower, and the documentary made by the students of MA Economics, and it's a team presentation, and the team members are Angira Singh, Aishwarya Kapoor, and Sakshi Jaiswal.
Hello everyone, we are the students of MA Final Year, Department of Economics, myself Angira, along with my friend Aishwarya and Sakshi. We have created a short film named Divyaya, The Wings of Willpower. It is a story of an unsung entrepreneur.
A short film created by ASA Original.
Disabled people are large minority groups, starved of services and mostly ignored by society. Live in isolation, segregation, poverty, charity and dependability. Due to discrimination, they do not go to public places and not free to get those rights which non-disabled person gets. We are deprived of everything. Myths, a stemming from a human need to make sense of the world and to resolve cultural dilemmas. Myths are still emerging and developing in the present day. Everybody is fighting some kind of stereotype, and people with disabilities are no exception.
Imagine, as a child, never been on a family holiday, watching your classmates going for one in summer and winter vacations, and your travels limited to just school picnics and grandparents' houses. So, here is a story of Neha Arora, who was that child, whose father is blind and mother is a wheelchair user. The thought of traveling to unknown places raises a lot of questions in the minds of a person with disability. Inaccessibility, lack of basic amenities, and socialitic prejudice are some of the barriers they face. When she grew up and she started to travel, every attempt was a surprise. Her experience results in innovative startup. She founded Planet Abled, which makes travel accessible and inclusive for people of all disabilities, including adventures, experiences like rafting, skiing, hiking, etc. She got inspiration from her parents. How it all started.
Realize that if we as a family are facing such issues, others might also be feeling the same, and they might not be as fortunate as us to be pushed by family and friends to come out of house and enjoy life to the fullest. And she looked for solutions. There was none. She started talking to others in a similar position as part of her research. She learned that they wanted to travel, but the refrain was, is it possible for us? Apprehension prompted by a fear of the unknown. Police were just and anxious about the person with disability traveling alone. If on one end of the scale lay excessive sympathy, then on the other was insensitivity. Neha decided to find a solution. She spent close to 3 years researching the issue, wanting to find an optimum solution for the problem. Homework included sitting at multiple airports to see how many disabled people traveled. It took the final plunge to leave her corporate career and adopt and started Planet Abled.
Not many people know that Planet Abled is not her first venture. She had been trying her hands at various stuff along with her college and job. HCL Technologies taught her Java for 3 months, most of which she literally slept through. In 2008, she started an anti corruption blog called Corrupt Sane. She also started a chain of tea cafes. Finally launched Planet Able on 1st January 2016, and now there was no going back.
Then, Planetable provides accessible travel solution and leisure excursion for people with different disabilities. Planetable is the only organization in the world where they mix people of all disabilities together into one group and travel together. Planetable has developed more than 35 destinations across the country around various themes. It was just among the best innovative practices in the world by the Zero Project Conference 2018 at United Nations. Few travel stories.
हम लोग इन्फॉर्मेशन डिसमिनेट करते हैं और लिविंग लाइफ मुझे आगे यहाँ पे बहुत अच्छा लगा और मैं इस इवेंट के लिए बहुत एक्साइटेड थी। कभी स्कूल टाइम में बचपन में आके कुतुब मीनार देखा था, वो एक अलग एक्सपीरियंस है, ये बहुत अलग एक्सपीरियंस है क्योंकि अब एज अ प्रोफेशनल आए हैं, अंडरस्टैंडिंग बहुत ब्रॉड हो गई और ये इंक्लूजन का के लिए एक बहुत अच्छा एग्जांपल है।
It was fantastic, much more than what I expected. So it was very liberating in one word if I want to say. Why liberating? Because I just lost my eyesight 2.5 years back, and since then I never traveled alone, and even with my parents and my family members, it was difficult for them to imagine that I would be traveling alone all the way.
Disability.
a curse or a blessing in disguise, an advantage or an advance the ups and downs of my disability. I wonder why they call it that. Disability, let's break it down and see what we found. This, let's see, in my opinion, it can mean a lot of things. It could mean I can't do something. It could mean that I am making fun somebody. Ability to do whatever you want to say, whatever the ability to do anything.
Thank you, Angira, Ashwarya, and Sakshi. The next documentary is on Varghese Kurian, and the documentary made by Shreya Singh of BA third year.
Majority of Indian population must have seen this little girl in polka dot dress, long lashes, blue hair and ribbon. Yes, she is Amul's mascot who has been part of the butter campaign since 1966. But do you all know the man behind the brand Amul, the father of milk revolution, rightly called the milkman of India, Dr. Varghese Kurian, a man of integrity and innovation who won the trust of all Prime Ministers of India from Nehru, Shastri to Rajiv and Indira Gandhi due to his honest ways. What's more incredible is his background. He comes from a Christian family in the southern state of Kerala and mobilized millions of Indian farmers in a far off western state of Gujarat. Kurian was an all-rounder who was good not just in studies but also played tennis, badminton and boxing at professional level. Dr. Kurian earned a degree in BSc Physics from Loyola College in Madras and then went to the US on government scholarship to pursue mechanical engineering. On returning to India, he was assigned to spend 5 years as an officer in the government dairy division in Anand, Gujarat. That's when he saw the ruthless exploitation of dairy farmers in the villages. The dairy farmers were always exploited by milk distributors. The Indian Milk Production Company was in private hands. The quality of milk was so bad that the British compared it to the sewage water of London. Small farmers and landless laborers were the milk producers and they owned very few cattle and they had no bargaining power. Milk was a highly perishable commodity which had to be sold twice a day. The consumers paid a very high price for a low quality product. Looking at the struggle of these farmers, Dr. Kurian, along with Tribhuvan Das Patel, took up to the mission to unite them and better their cause. Dr. Kurian decided to quit his job and started Milk Cooperative Movement, which was later re-christened as a movement.
We discussed many names. And then one name that emerged was Amul. Anand Milk Union Limited. And Amulya in Sanskrit means priceless.
Under Dr. Kurian's stewardship, Operation Flood was launched in 1970, kick-starting India's White Revolution. It was based on an experimental pattern set by Dr. Kurian himself. This program created a national milk grid linking producers throughout India, reducing seasonal price fluctuations and ensuring milk producers get a major share of the income generated from end consumers. The program also made sure farmers get fair market prices on a regular basis. All this was achieved by the cooperative structure. It created a national milk grid linking producers throughout India to consumers in over 700 towns and cities and reducing seasonal and regional price variations while ensuring that producers get a major share of the profit by eliminating the middleman. Operation Flood increased the number of milk sheds from 18 to 173 in 1988-89. Urban markets also expanded the outlets for milk to 290. By the end of 1985, a self-sustaining system of 43,000 village cooperatives with 4 crore 25 lakh milk producers was covered.
Domestic milk powder production increased from 22,000 tons in the pre-project year to 1,40,000 tons by 1989.
They manufacture more milk powder than New Zealand. We produce something like 160,000 tons. So we have proven that scientific and technical advice given by advanced countries is very often influenced and determined by the commercial interests of that country from which the expert comes.
The man of India, Dr. Varghese Kurian, led India away from darkness of lack of education, less productivity, use of obsolete means, poor conversion rate to the light of massive milk production, refinement in the dairy agricultural sector, breaking of conventional barriers of caste gender parity.
The private sector, which was in charge of dairy, had ruined it and brought it to a pass. You couldn't get a drop of milk which was not under treatment. You couldn't get any ghee or butter which was not under treatment. And dairy situation was so bad that some intervention was necessary.
The revolutionary billion-meter idea and execution of world's largest dairy agricultural development program, Operation Flood, transformed India from a nation with potential in the dairy industry to a nation with massive production of milk and dairy products.
यहाँ की डेयरी और डेयरियों के बनस्पत ज्यादा कामयाब है, इसका राज क्या है? सर, दरअसल कोई राज नहीं है, जो बात है वो बिल्कुल साफ है। हमारे देश की कोई भी और डेयरी ऐसी नहीं है जिसके मालिक खुद किसान। आनंद किसानों की डेयरी है, इसके मालिक यहाँ के किसान हैं। वो तय करते हैं कि यहाँ की क्या पॉलिसीज होगी, उन्हीं के इलेक्टेड रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स इस यूनियन को चलाते हैं।
Things that I really admire about my father is his encouragement. Even today at 80, he will get up when my mother comes into the room. He's very respectful to women, and those are things that we don't see today. He basically believed that he had to spoil the women in his house, as he put it, and we were terribly spoiled, and we're still very spoiled by him.
Dr. Kurian received Raymond Magsaysay Award, Padma Vibhushan, World Food Prize, Padma Bhushan, Padma Shri, and many more awards. Dr. Kurian passed away on 9 September 2012. These words by Dr. Kurian are surely inspirational to me and to everyone out there.
What do you attribute success of Ramon? Success of Ramon, I'll attribute to the fact that it was opposed by Ramon. You see, when everybody opposes you, you either survive or you die. If you survive, you become strong. Nobody becomes strong unless he battles.
At last, I would like to introduce myself to you all. My name is Shreya Singh. I'm a student of Economic Honours from Vasanta College for Women, PHU.
Thank you, Shreya. The next documentary is made by Kumari Pooja, and her documentary is on Swachh Bharat Mission.
दादा, आप साफ करते रहोगे और लोग कचरा करते रहेंगे।
अरे कुछ नहीं होगा इस देश का। देखा? हाँ, हो सकता है, बस थोड़ी और सफाई करनी पड़ेगी। कैसे? ये आपका खता है।
किसका है?
किसी भारत ने भेजा है। भारत? हमारा गांव में तो कोई भारत है नहीं।
मैं किसी भारत को नहीं जानती।
मतलब शायद कोई पहचान वाला हो।
सदर प्रणाम। शायद आप मुझे पहचानते नहीं हो, पर मैं आपको जानता हूँ बहुत करीब से।
कई बार कई जगहों पर हम मिल भी चुके हैं।
और हर मुलाकात एक याद बनती गई। याद है जब वह मिश्रा की बीवी रसोई से कूड़ा फेंक रही थी, तब आप ही ने तो उसे डांटा था।
गांधी चौराहे के सामने वाली दीवार पर जब वो आदमी थूक रहा था, तब आप ही ने तो उसे रोका था।
किसी दूसरे ने फेंका हुआ कचरा जब आपने उठाकर कचरे के डिब्बे में डाला था, तब मुझे बड़ा गर्व महसूस हुआ था कि आज का नौजवान भी मेरी इतनी कदर करता है।
आपके बहुत एहसान है मुझ पर, नहीं तो भला कौन सोचता है इन छोटी छोटी बातों के बारे में।
मैं शुक्रगुजार हूँ आपका, मेरी इतनी इज्जत करने के लिए।
मैं शुक्रगुजार हूँ मेरी तरक्की के खातिर आपके इस छोटे कदम के लिए।
मैं शुक्रगुजार हूँ मुझे महान बनाने के लिए आपका, प्रिय भारत। सच बात बताओ मोहन दादा, मतलब मुझे नहीं लगता कि इतनी आसानी से मुबारक हो मोहन दादा। अरे अपना देश साफ हो रहा है।
हाँ, पर और एक खत देना बाकी है।
अब कौन? ये आपका खत आया है, किसी भारत ने भेजा है।
Hello everyone, myself Pooja, Economics Department from Vasanta College of Women, and I hope you all make a guess on which the video is based. Yes, the video is based on a man who is unselfishly associated with Swachh Bharat mission named Ram Lalit and earned the title of the Pavda Man of Mirzapur districts in 2009. As we talk about Swachh Bharat mission, its slogan is One Step Towards Cleanliness. It is a national campaign by the Government of India covering 4,041 state, cities and towns to clean the streets, roads and infrastructure of the company. It was performed in the remembrance of Gandhi's word. It is India's biggest ever cleanliness drive, and 3 million government employee and school colleagues, students of India participated in this event. Let us come to some of the objectives of Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, such as construction of individual, cluster and community toilets to eliminate or reduce open defecation. Open defecation is one of the main cause of thousands of children each year, and so on. Like public awareness and defecation group staff will be recruited. Meet the Ramlalit Pavda Man of Mirzapur, the unsung hero of PM Modi's historic Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. He belongs to Premapur village in the Mirzapur, a 36-kilometer drive from the PM Modi's parliamentary constituency Varanasi. Premapur looks like any other ordinary village in Uttar Pradesh, except this village has an extraordinary feat. It was one of the first villages in Uttar Pradesh to be declared open defecation free, and Premapur is a part of Shikhat block, which was the first block in UP to be declared as open defecation free. Ramlalit, a 50-year-old man, was appointed Swachhata Grahi as a part of Swachh Bharat mission and also part of the Village Nigrani Samiti, a volunteer group of local villagers who work to make village ODF. His day began at 4 a.m. He started his day by patrolling around the village with his favda and broom. He used his favda to cover the feces that was left behind by the people defecating in open and clean roadsides with the broom. On being asked why did he start doing this, he says, flies sit on the feces and spread diseases, and I used to cover it to protect the village from such diseases. He had such a huge dedication for cleanliness of his village, and he done it all alone. His efforts were initially termed as an obsession and were made fun of.
Ram Lalit's next mission is cleaning Ganga is the next. After the village was declared ODF, Ram Lalit started working on his new target of cleaning the river Ganga, which flow through Premapur village. He now works to clean the ghat and the area near to the river. He say, I will one day clean the entire river embankment in the village if the people support me. He further says that he doesn't give any monetary help from the government, but never mattered much to him, and he will work for this mission. He is doing such a great job unselfishly, and this time the whole village supported him. So thank you for listening this.
Thank you, Pooja. The next presentation or the documentary is on Dadabhai Naroji, and it was a group presentation made by Neha Rai, Manisha Ruchi, and Sanchika Raj of MA Economics.
Hero. Hero is someone who is admired for some extraordinary work towards the society.
A hero is someone who demonstrates strength, courage, and wisdom in the face of adversity.
And then there are some heroes whose accomplishments in some field are not as acknowledged as others.
Hello everyone, I Neha Rai, MA Economics student, Vasanta College for Women.
I'm Manisha Ruchi, MA Economics student at Vasanta College for Women.
And I, Sanchika Raj, MA Economics from Vasanta College for Women.
We'll introduce you to one such hero. Let us get started.
Do you know who is the first Indian who made an attempt to calculate per capita and national income? Yes, he is none other than Dadabhai Naoroji, the father of Indian nationalism. India's first economic thinker who provided the pattern of economic thought for modern India. The first Indian Asian to become member of British Parliament. The first Indian to start an Indian company in Britain. The first Indian to become a professor at British Elphinstone Institute in Mumbai. The founder of East Indian Association and co-founder of Indian National Congress. A true intellectual with multi-dimensional personality, an educator, a writer, an economist, a businessman, early Indian political leader, a social reformer, and many more. Born on 4th September 1815 in a Parsi family of Bombay, R, the grand old man of India was among the leading nationalist leaders who aroused the feeling of economic nationalism and portrayed for it. The most instrumental in this regard had been theory of trade. In 19th century, the train of wealth from India to England took place. It was in 1867 that for the first time Dadabhai Naoroji put forward the idea that Britain was extracting wealth from India. The train of wealth took place in several ways. Large remittances were made by European officials of their savings in India. Large remittances were made in the form of salaries and pensions. India had to pay for government expenditure in England also. Non-official Europeans made remittances from their business profits in India. The money which had gone out of India to England came back as British capital, and foreigners also monopolized trade and industry. He said that economic resources were taken to internal trade, that is, transfer of purchasing power by means of taxation and profits and interest payment from poor to rich classes. And secondly, the unrequired exports which produced no equivalent returns in form of imports. Naoroji himself wrote, even an ocean, which lost some of its water every day, which never returned to it, would be dried up in time. Under similar conditions, wealthy England even would be soon reduced to poverty. According to him, poverty of Indian people was main problem. India was getting poorer and poorer every day, and it was evident by number of facts like low national income, low standard of living, high mortality. On the basis of official data, Naoroji himself calculated the per capita income for the 3 years, 1867 to 1870, at rupees 20 only. On the other hand, the basic requirements of the ordinary labor was about rupees 34. He concluded that even for such food and clothing which was provided through a criminal, a good seasonal production was not enough. He could not reconcile to the outcome of British rule in India. To him, the British rule in India was un-British in character. Hence, the title of his book, Poverty and Un-British Rule in India, was published in 1901. Through the speeches in the House of Commons, Nauroji severely criticized the British administration in India. The main attack was on the unjust, destructive, and exploitative attitude of the East India Company. He told Indian money was used for the home establishments of railway directors and government superintendents, and other large portion went by way of salaries and allowances to European staff. Only small portion went to India as they were employed on low-paid jobs. There were many such arguments given by him which were full of critiques as well as appreciations. He was the thinker who provided economic thought for modern India, and he shall be remembered as a nationalist, a true son of Mother India, and as a practical economist with a clear vision of the problems of the country.
Thank you, Neha, Manisha, and Sanchika. Now, the next documentary is on Madam Bhikaji Kama, and the documentary made by Harshika Singh Tomar of BCom.
Hello, myself Harshita Singh Tomar. I am pursuing BCom Honours from Vasanta College, Performance. And today we are celebrating the 75th Amrit Mahotsav of Independence. And at the time of this occasion, I am going to tell you all about India's first woman revolutionary, Madam Bikaiji Rustam Kama, the unsung hero.
मैडम भिकाजी कामा का जन्म 24 सितंबर 1861 को बम्बई के एक समृद्ध पारसी परिवार में हुआ था। उनके पिता सुराबजी पटेल एक प्रसिद्ध व्यापारी थे। मैडम भिकाजी कामा ने अलेक्जेंड्रा गर्ल्स इंग्लिश इंस्टीट्यूट से शिक्षा प्राप्त की। मैडम भिकाजी कामा ने लोगों की मदद और सेवा करने की भावना फूट फूट कर भरी थी। वर्ष 1896 में मुंबई में प्लेग बीमारी फैल गई थी। तब मैडम भिकाजी कामा ने प्लेग से ग्रसित लोगों की सेवा की थी। बाद में वह खुद भी इस बीमारी की चपेट में आ गई थी और प्लेग के इलाज के लिए वर्ष 1902 में वह लंदन गई, मगर वहां भी उन्होंने भारतीय स्वाधीनता संघर्ष के लिए काम जारी रखा। 1905 में जब वह भारत वापस आना चाह रहे थे, तब ब्रिटिश सरकार ने उन्हें सिर्फ इस शर्त पर वापस आने की अनुमति दी कि वह वहां किसी भी राजनीतिक गतिविधियों में हिस्सा नहीं लें। तब उन्होंने भारत की बात कहने के लिए यूरोपीय देशों की यात्रा और 22 अगस्त 1907 को जर्मनी के स्टुटगार्ट शहर में हुई इंटरनेशनल सोशलिस्ट कॉन्फ्रेंस में उन्होंने भारत की आजादी का पहला झंडा लहराया और वंदे मातरम का नारा भी लगाया। बाद में इसी झंडे में कुछ बेपदल करके इसे देश के राष्ट्रीय ध्वज का रूप दिया। 35 वर्ष मैडम कामा अपने घर परिवार से भी मातृभूमि को आजादी दिलाने के लिए संघर्ष करती रही, कष्ट सहती रही। लेकिन धीरे धीरे वह बहुत बीमार रही और वह इतनी कमजोर हो गई कि उनके लिए खड़े रह पाना भी मुश्किल था। और वर्ष 1935 में ब्रिटिश सरकार की शर्त को मानकर वह अपने देश वापस और एयरपोर्ट से व्हीलचेयर पे सीधे पार्सो जनरल हॉस्पिटल पहुंचा, जहां उन्होंने अपनी जिंदगी के अंतिम महीने गुजारे और फिर संसार से विदा। मरते समय उनके होठों पर दो ही शब्द, वंदे मातरम।
का इतना बड़ा योगदान देने के बावजूद अंतिम समय में उनसे मिलने कोई नहीं आया। यहाँ तक कि उनकी मृत्यु पे कोई शोक सभा नहीं मनाई गई, किसी ने भी आंसू नहीं बहाए। परंतु आजादी के कई वर्षों बाद कृतज्ञ भारत ने उन्हें याद किया और उनके सम्मान में मुंबई के महाराष्ट्र सचिवालय रोड का नाम बदलकर मैडम कामा रोड रखा गया। और ऐसे ही कई अनसंग हीरोज हैं जिनके बारे में आज कोई नहीं जानता। वे उनके लिए बहुत कुछ करने की आवश्यकता है ताकि उनके योगदान के बारे में सबको पता चले और वह गुमनाम नायक ना रहे। थैंक यू।
Thank you, Harshita. The next presentation is by Jaya Singh, and her topic of documentary is Bhavesh Agrawal and Ankit Bhatti.
Hello my dear friends, myself Jaya Singh and I am the student of BA third year from Economics Department. As we all aware that our nation celebrated 75th anniversary of Indian independence as the Azadi ka Amrit Mahotsav. And our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi has often shared his vision of building a new Atmanirbhar Bharat by the year of 2022. And on these two big occasions, our economic department also organized a short documentary video competition. So, as a participant, I am presenting a short documentary video on the Unsung entrepreneur. So, let's see in this video. So, my dear friends, I am telling you the story of Bhavesh Agrawal and his friend Ankit Bhatti, who were the founder of Ola Cab. Bhavesh Agrawal born on 28 August 1985 in Ludhiana. He completed his bachelor degree in computer science and the engineering at the IIT Bombay in 2008. Bhavesh Agrawal's journey of startup started with an unfortunate experience with a car he had rented a weekend trip for the Bangalore to Pandipur with his friend. The driver of the car stopped in the Mysore and demanded for the more money and began to argument. He was 23-year-old who had left his job in the research division of Microsoft to do something more. So that he teamed up with the Ankit Bhatti, another IITian from the Jodhpur, and set up the website olatrip.com on 3rd December 2010. The companies like Silicon Valley's Kua Capital and Japan's SoftBank helped it the command 60% of the market share in the India by the 2014 with the over 15 lakh bookings per day. His company not only compete international company like Uber in the India but also extended its operation overseas starting with the Australia in January 2018 followed by the New Zealand and September in year and UK and in the March 2019. The goal of India in Paris Climate Agreement will cut its emission intensity by 33 to 35% before the target date of 2030. Using of electric vehicle, it is also good step to save our environment and India also reduce the carbon emission. So that Agrawal did not stop there. In December 14, 2020, Bhavesh Agrawal announced that Ola to set up the world's largest scooty factory in Tamil Nadu. Ola Electric will officially open the Ola S1 Pro purchase from the September 2021 and will start delivery across the 1000 city and towns in October. Till then, the Ola S1 is available for the reservation at the 499 on July 17. The company announced receiving the record 1 million reservation within the 24-hour opening booking. They are building the world's largest two-wheeler factory which will have the 15% of world's two-wheeler production with the production of 10 million scooters annually or one scooter every 10 seconds. With our future factory, we will also use the new modern era of the Industry 4.0. The past paradigm of the manufacturing were built in the China, but the future of the manufacturing will be written here in India. In the passing few years, we are addicted to depending on the technology. So this scooter have the best form of technology. It have digital key, dust and waterproof screen, voice controller. So it also compete Tesla.
Thank you, Jaya. The next documentary is made by Kulsum and Shireen of BCom second year, and they have made the documentary on Praful Bellore.
Hello everyone, myself Amrit, and I'm a student of Vasanta College for Women, become second year. So, let me ask you a general question. What do you think a person can earn just by selling a tea? You can think 10k, 50k, or maximum in lakhs. But what if I tell you that there's a person who is a billionaire just by selling a tea? Yes, I'm talking about Mr. Praful Bellore, the founder and CEO of MBA Chaiwala, or Mr. Bellore Ahmedabad Chaiwala. He's a perfect example of unexpected hits in entrepreneurship journey. So here is Shireen, my partner with us, who is going to tell something more about all these things. And then we are going to show you a small clip that will narrate our video documentary.
But this man is the biggest example that with a strong desire, confidence, belief, passion, consistency, and concentration, you can achieve anything you desire for. But this man is the biggest example that with a strong desire, confidence, belief, passion, consistency, and concentration, you can achieve anything you desire for. MBA was all that was going in and out, day and night in my mind. Those who don't know who Praful Bellore is, here is a small overview for you.
Praful Bellore is popularly known as the MBA Chaiwala. He is a proud owner of the MBA Chaiwala or Mr. Bellore Ahmedabad Chaiwala franchisee, which is now a 3 crore empire built on a chai and his dream. Praful is a BCom graduate hailing from a middle class family in Madhya Pradesh. At the age of 20, after getting his heart broken by a cat, Praful took a trip across India, staying in big cities like Bangalore, Mumbai, etc. Following in the footsteps of wealthy American people, he worked at McDonald's and after contemplating for 50 days, he opened a tea stall, which he used to run at night for a few hours. On his first day, he made 300 rupees in total sales, but on the second day, he came up with a strategy of talking to people and offering them chai in English. Everyone immediately paid attention to him, wondering who was this guy selling chai and talking in English, that too cheerful. Very soon, his side hustle became his main business. A lot of hardships came in his way, but he decided to stay strong and carry on. He wanted to do more, and one of his ideas was to put up a whiteboard where people who needed jobs could write their number and other customers who needed employees. This enabled his tea stall to connect people.
Mr. Bellore and the Bad Chaiwala has organized numerous events. For example, free chai for singles on Valentine's Day, poetry, singing nights, Mehfil Kavita. Many sessions are hosted by honorable individuals who educated the youth about entrepreneurship, fundraising for cancer patients, underprivileged people, Kerala flood relief funds, and also conducted political campaigns with Delhi and Bihar government respectively. The whole brand has been acknowledged, talked about, and credited with honors by big media agencies like BBC, CNN, Scoop Whoop, NDTV, TEDx, Aaj etc. With this, he has also been invited to talk at IIMs, IITs, Josh Talks, TEDx MDI Gurgaon, TEDx KIIT, etc. He has also gotten published in the book All You Need Is Josh, among other world famous entrepreneurs. But Praful is more than just an entrepreneur. He's a leader, social activist, content creator, and angel investor. He has worked hard for years and gotten his tea stall to a brand that is imprinting their mark worldwide, not just by serving delicious chai, but by helping people become a chai-preneur. He's expanding the brand even further by launching MBA Chaiwala Academy, where millions of people will be educated online just by opting for courses from various fields. Another upcoming label from this site is a tea brand, which will be unique and much more satisfactory to tea lovers. And his ventures don't just end here. He has more ideas currently being executed that will change the world around us.
Thank you, Ume and Sherry. The the documentary is on Mr. C.K. Prahalad, and the documentary made by the students of MA Economics, Shreya Ghosh and Priyanka Parekh.
The essence of strategy lies in creating diverse competitive advantages faster than competitors can mimic the ones we possess today. OMBD Krishna Pralad was a corporate and social strategist, educator, and an author who was born on 8th August in the year 1941 in Madras Presidency, now known as Tamil Nadu. His wife's name, Srimati Gayatri, and children named Krishna and Deepali. His father was a Tamil scholar and judge in Madras, now known as Chennai. He finished his degree of bachelor's in physics from the Loyola College of Chennai at the age of 19 years. Thereafter, he joined Union Carbide, where he worked for 4 years. At the Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad, he pursued his post-graduation in management. C.K. Prahlad wrote a directorial thesis on multinational business at Harvard Business School in 2.5 years, graduating with a Doctor of Business Administration degree in the year of 1975. Then he returned to India in the Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad, to serve as a professor. But he again went back to United States in the year of 1977 with an appointment to the University of Michigan's Booth School of Business Administration. In the year of 2005, he became a tenured full professor.
Management Guru or CKP is a great personality. People see him as a professional scholar, as a business thinker, etc. But a lesser known fact is he was a great economic thinker as well. He gave ideas about different economic issues like sustainability, globalization, and how to eradicate poverty in his book, The Fortune at the Bottom of the Pyramid. He also visioned India's growth in his speech India at 75, and his ideas are even more relevant today. About sustainability, he says,
Sustainability is not an option. Sustainability is a must, especially when an additional 4 billion people will become micro consumers and micro producers. We have to think about sustainability, but not in terms of slowing them down, but in terms of thinking about sustainability as innovation, not compliance and regulation. So I say the next phase is sustainability is about innovation.
Looking into his economic contribution, C.K. Prahlad eventually developed this concept and released a book with the same title named The Fortune at the Bottom of the Pyramid, which discussed different ideas and strategies for manufacturers and service providers to target the poorest people in the world. In economics, the bottom of the pyramid is the largest, but the poorest socio-economic group. About 4 to 5 billion people are unserved by the private sector. In the bottom of the pyramid, about 70% of Indian population are currently living. C.K. Prahlad said that companies should not ignore this traditionally overlooked people, that is, the bottom of the pyramid. If companies are innovative enough to create or tailor their products with economic realities, a significant profit can be earned. At the same time, their entry into the market would hopefully make their quality of life better and aid the regional economic development. Prahlad demonstrated clearly that it is possible to develop business models that allow the poorest of the poor people to participate actively in their own economic development. Basically, C.K. Prahlad, through the fortune at the bottom of the pyramid, suggested that the company must have to concentrate on the bottom of the pyramid of more than 4 million people, which will help them to create opportunities.
Now, let's hear a poem dedicated to Mr. Prahlad. कोयम्बतूर कृष्ण प्रहलाद है नाम, इनके अनेक कार्य रहे हैं महान। भारत के अर्थशास्त्र की रेखा इन्होंने बदल दी, एक नई ऊंचाई की सीढ़ी इन्होंने बना दी। अर्थशास्त्र का ज्ञान इन्होंने दिया, व्यापार का रूप ही बदल गया। कई दिग्गज भी मानते हैं इन्हें गुरु, आइए इनके विचारों से होते हैं रूबरू। कहना है इनका, अगर चाहिए ग्रोथ तो आइडेंटिफाई, कल्टिवेट एंड एक्सप्लॉइट द को। सस्टेनेबिलिटी नहीं है ऑप्शन, बल्कि इट इज द न्यू इनोवेशन। है इनकी सीधी सी बात, अगर चाहिए विकास तो बढ़ना होगा लेकर सबको साथ। यह बातें लगती है जितनी सीधी उतनी है नहीं, देखोगे अगर ध्यान से तो पाओगे गहराई कई। माना है जिनको संपूर्ण विश्व ने, उनको हम भी प्रणाम करते हैं। इनके विचारों को अपना पाए, यह कामना रखते हैं।
I'm the Akapari, co-writer of this short film. I chose Mr. C.K. Prahlad for this documentary project because I resonated with all of his ideas and majorly what he says about sustainability. He says sustainable growth is not an option, and I completely agree. Today, the world is adopting more sustainable options like electronic vehicles, solar power panels, green resources, and whatnot. Because the world has realized that if we want a future, we need to preserve it ourselves, something that Mr. Prahlad knew 20 years back. That is why I chose him to celebrate his work and his Thank you.
Everyone, myself Shreya Ghosh. The theme of our documentary is C.K. Prahlad. Why C.K. Prahlad? Because his ideas are so innovative. He pushed for the change and progress. Various of forums with the knowledge that are based, that are born out of his deep understanding of India, about the people, about the policy, and the business environment. The ideas that are framed a decade ago are more relevant now, just because the ideas that he put are based on the mantra, think about the future.
Thank you, Shreya and Priyanka. Now, the last documentary is on Mr. Naveen Patnaik, and the documentary made by the students of MA Economics, Neha Shukla and Priyam Rai.
Good morning, Shastrikal, Namaskar. Me, Neha Shukla.
And me, Priyam Rai, we are going to present the documentary on the Odisha Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik.
Naveen Patnaik was the son of Biju Patnaik and Gyan Patnaik. Was born in 16th October 1946 at Cuttack and was educated at the prestigious Doon School in Dehradun. He was acquainted with both the Sanjay and the Rajiv Gandhi at the disarmament matters, and that is precisely where he is said to acquired his nickname Pappu. In his 20th, he opened a boutique of the Psycho Tehli in the Oberoi Hotel in New Delhi. His adult life as a writer, all through in books and history, the arts and cultures and the medicinal plants.
He is an Indian politician serving as the current and the 14th Chief Minister of Odisha. He is also the president of the Biju Janata Dal. He is the longest serving Chief Minister of Odisha and as of 2021, one of the longest serving Chief Ministers of any Indian state, holding the post for over the 2 decades. अगर हम बात करें इनके काम की जो उन्होंने फार्मर्स के फील्ड के लिए की है तो कालिया the Kuruks assistance for the livelihood income augmentation provided assistance to farmers and landless agricultural laborers. Since the COVID-19 pandemic broke out, the state government has provided more than 3,200 crores to the farmers under this scheme. It has also raised the issues of MSPs and crop insurance with the union government. In the field of women's empowerment, जहां तक बात है नारी सशक्तिकरण के क्षेत्र की, नवीन पटनायक the biggest strength in all the past elections has been overwhelming support from women. In 2001, he launched the Mission to Shakti initiative to empower the women through the promotion of self-help groups to take up the various socio-economic activities. As well as the government has also reserved 50% of the seats for women in both the rural and the urban local bodies. अगर हम बात करें उनकी governance and the education की, तो all the government departments have started adopting the 5 T's agendas. And what is this? This is the transparency, teamwork, technology, and timelines, leading to the transformation under the MO Sarkar, that is the My Government Initiative. On the education front, Naveen Patnaik has started a new program to transform high schools run and aided by the government by involving the community to strengthen the public school systems and make it attractive for the general public. And if we talk about the public health schemes, Patnaik's launched the Biju Swasth Kalyan Yojana, a smart health card scheme that government claimed would benefit about 3.5 crores people in the state. He was these measures in the wave of the COVID-19 crisis to improve the health infrastructure at different levels across the states. All the measures taken by the government kept the situation under control during both waves of the pandemic. Odisha also crossed a milestone in the field against the COVID-19 with more than 10 lakh resources. If we talk about for the promoting the hockey team, Naveen Patnaik has also announced that Odisha will sponsor both the hockey teams for another 10 years.
Namaskar. Namaskar. Many congratulations to our hockey team. The whole of India is so excited, as is Odisha, of course. We are all behind you and we wish you the very best. Sure, sir.
The 2023 edition of the Men's Hockey World Cup is also scheduled to be held in Odisha at Kalinga Stadium in Bhubaneswar. Its popularity has soared following the started performance of the men's and the women's hockey teams at the Tokyo Olympics that ended in August. Even his critics have appreciated the Odisha government decisions to sponsor the country's hockey team for 5 years from 2018.
I would like to conclude about our documentary. Naveen Patnaik is famous for what he did for Odisha, that is, making the government transparency and corruption free. He believes in silence is more eloquence than speech in every matter. It is all about our documentary. Thank you so much for listening our documentary so patiently.
Thank you. Thank you all for the wonderful presentation. I thank all the students of social science faculty and commerce faculty for their active participation. Due to time constraint, we have played only 23 documentaries. As said by ma'am, that we have received 42 documentaries. But I thank all the students, those who have sent their documentary to us and took part in this competition. Now, I would like to invite our judges to share their opinion on the documentaries made by our students. Firstly, I would like to invite Dr. Seema Srivastava ma'am. Ma'am is the head in the Department of Psychology in our college, and ma'am is also the IQAC coordinator of our college. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Yogita. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You are audible, ma'am.
Okay. Respected Ranjana ma'am, all my colleagues of economics department, and dear students. First of all, I would like to congratulate the Department of Economics to organize such a wonderful and innovative competition, which is in a way different from other type of competitions. And I think it is beneficial for the students in two ways. First of all, they are making themselves, their fellow students, and also to us aware about the unsung heroes. About them, probably many of us must not be knowing. So thank you, students, for presenting the glimpses about those unsung heroes. And secondly, this competition is different because it is giving them the opportunity to present their expressive and creative skills and motivate other students also to take part in such events. So, in my view, all the entries which were presented before us were extremely beautiful, beautifully created, crafted, and we can, as all of us would agree with me, that all the entries, all the documentaries presented by the students were very nice, and we could see the amount of caliber and effort which was put in by the students. As far as I have given a very difficult task. You can understand the task of judges is the most difficult task because you have to choose. So it doesn't mean that the things, the documentaries which are chosen, they are, you can just say that they are slightly better than those who are slightly not so good. Okay, they may be improved. So for me, in my view, taking part itself is the first step of winning. So to me, and I would agree, I would presume that Dr. Usha would agree with me that all those who have taken part in this competition itself, they are all winners. So you must keep taking part in all such competitions, and you are fortunate that your teachers are so much careful about you, your learning, they are helpful in your learning process. And with these words, I would express my gratitude towards the economics department, especially Dr. Ranjana ma'am, for giving me this opportunity to be a part of this beautiful event. And at the same time, I would congratulate all the participants and wish them a very bright future. So with these words, I've tried my best to evaluate as per my understanding of the concept and my caliber. And let's see who wins. So thank you once again, the economics department, and I wish all the students a very good, a bright future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am, for such an inspirational word. It will definitely motivate our students. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Usha Dikshit, ma'am. Ma'am is Assistant Professor in the Department of Commerce. And now, I would like to invite you, ma'am, for your motivational words.
Thank you, Yogita. And good evening, one and all present here. And I, Usha Dikshit, Department of Commerce, is privileged for being a part of this event, Azadi ki Amrit Mahotsav, organized by the Department of Economics, Vasanta College for Women. And I really enjoyed the program and amazed the amount and quality of work the individuals, participants, and the teams have put into their work and presentations. Everyone who took part has much to be proud of. In my opinion, you all are winners. Choosing one is tough as every participant excelled in some or other ways. Documentaries on great personalities like Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar, Dada Banoroji, G.D. Birla, Kurian, V.K.R. Virao, Bhagavati Prasad, and all, etc. They have paved the way for economic development of the country. And the great unsung heroes like Favda Man, Awesome, MBA Chaiwala, Bhavesh Agrawal, Kalpana Saroj, Neha Arora's innovative contribution is also remarkable. I would like to congratulate all the students who took part in this event. And once again, I am grateful and thankful to Dr. Ranjana ma'am, Dr. Vibha ma'am, Dr. Preeti Singh, Dr. Yogita, and Dr. Akhilesh Singh, the entire team of Economic Department for organizing such a wonderful program. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I know all the participants are desperately waiting for the results. But as Seema ma'am said, that you all remember that winning and losing hardly matters. Your participation is always important. So please do participate in all these activities. Now, for the declaration of result, I would like to invite Dr. Preeti Singh ma'am. Ma'am is Assistant Professor in our department. So over to you, ma'am.
Thanks, Yogita. Am I audible, Yogita?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay. So, good evening, one and all present over here. It's my pleasure to share some views on this auspicious occasion. We owe a lot of reverence to our brave freedom fighters who put our country first without caring their own lives. As a matter of paying our tribute to the audacious souls, we have gathered here to commemorate the occasion of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, the foundation of which has been laid on 75th anniversary of India's Independence Day. Our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi has envisioned building a new Atmanirbhar Bharat by the year 2022. A number of activities are being conducted with the objective to know unsung heroes of freedom movement under this Azadi Ka Mahotsav, Amrit Mahotsav. So the Department of Economics today also organized a documentary competition on unsung heroes, that are economists and entrepreneurs of our country. We are fortunate to have enthusiastic and versatile students who participate in such activities and make such event a grand success. I congratulate all the students who made the documentaries, who took the pain, and they left no as great as possible. It was really a tough task on the part of judges to select few documentary out of the all documentaries because of the time constraint. So, and made all the documentaries within such short span of time. So we appreciate the efforts of all participants of this program. my dear students, the learnings you imbibed during the entire process, I'm sure, would bring about a positive change in your personality and will pay you dividends in the future. On such a note, I would like to use this opportunity to declare the results of the competition. First of all, I would like to call out the participants who put a splendid performance but missed a spot in top 3 by a whisker. The first consolation prize goes to Shreya Ghosh and Priyanka Parekh group of MA Economics. They made documentary on CK Prahlad. So a round of applause for them. Just and the second consolation prize goes to Kumari Pooja of BA third year economics. Her documentary was on Ram Lalit, who initiated Swachh Bharat mission. Moving ahead, now the third winner of the competition is Kritika Gupta of BA second year economics. She presented her documentary on the great economist P.R. Brahmanan. So a big round of applause for her. Now the second prize goes to Khushi Kumari of BA second year psychology honors. She presented her documentary on Osam Jeri. So I request all of you put your hands together for her great effort. And the first winner of this documentary competition is a group, and that is of Aishwarya Kapoor, Angira Singh and Sakshi Jaiswal of MA Economics. They made their documentary on Neha Arora. The performance of this group mesmerized everyone. So a great round of applause for the group members. So this was the result, but congratulations to all the winners, and I request all of you to clap for all the participants of the competition. And I would like to thank our judges who took time to grace the occasion and helped us to determine the winners of this documentary competition. Now I would request Vibha Joshi ma'am for giving vote of thanks. Over to you, ma'am. Vibha ma'am.
Thank you, Preeti. Thank you so much. I hope I am audible.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, धन्यवाद देना चाहती हूँ मैं इस बहुत खूबसूरत से प्रोग्राम के लिए, इस महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका को देने के लिए। धन्यवाद देना बहुत सुखद होता है। जो धन्यवाद दिए जाते हैं उन व्यक्तियों को भी, और जो धन्यवाद ज्ञापित करता है उन दोनों को ही एक बहुत अच्छा सा, प्यारा सा, सुखद सा एहसास और अपनेपन का एहसास दिलाता है। और इसी सुखद एहसास के साथ मैं कृतज्ञता ज्ञापित करती हूँ आज के इस अमृत महोत्सव, जो आजादी के 75 साल के उपलक्ष्य में अर्थशास्त्र विभाग वसंता कॉलेज द्वारा आयोजित डॉक्यूमेंट्री कंपटीशन है, इसके आदरणीय निर्णायकों को, डॉक्टर सीमा श्रीवास्तव जी को और डॉक्टर उषा दीक्षित जी को, जिन्होंने अपना बहुमूल्य समय हमें दिया, तथा साथ ही जो वो वैसे भी एक्सेप्ट कर चुके हैं कि बहुत कठिन चुनौती को भी पार किया, क्योंकि आसान नहीं था सभी एक से एक बढ़कर प्रस्तुतियों में से किसी एक को फर्स्ट, सेकंड या थर्ड दें। लेकिन आप इस आभासी मंच पर हमसे जुड़े और बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका निभाई, इसके लिए मेरी तरफ से तथा हमारे विभाग के सभी सदस्यों की तरफ से आपको हार्दिक आभार एवं सादर प्रणाम। धन्यवाद हमारी प्राचार्य अलका जी एवं सेक्शन इंचार्ज रंजना जी का, जिन्होंने इस महत्वपूर्ण कार्य को करने की सोच को वास्तविकता के धरातल पर उतारने के लिए अपना सहयोग एवं आशीर्वाद दिया। धन्यवाद हमारे विभाग की प्रीति सिंह, योगिता बेरी और अखिलेश जी को, जिन्होंने पूरी कुशलता के साथ शुरू से लेके अंत तक सभी लॉजिस्टिक कामों को पूरा किया और बहुत खूबसूरती से इस प्रोग्राम में डॉक्यूमेंट्री प्रेजेंटेशंस को बिना किसी रुकावट के प्रस्तुत किया। हार्दिक धन्यवाद। बहुत सारे प्यार एवं आशीर्वाद के साथ धन्यवाद उन सभी प्रतिभागियों को जिनके बिना इस कार्यक्रम का होना असंभव था। बहुत से बच्चों को आज पुरस्कार मिला, उनको बधाइयाँ। लेकिन जिन्हें आज किसी स्थान नहीं प्राप्त हुआ फर्स्ट, सेकंड या थर्ड का, जिनका इस प्रतियोगिता में आज डॉक्यूमेंट्री भी शामिल नहीं हो पाया, उन सबके प्रयास भी कमतर नहीं थे। उन्हें हम उन अनसंग हीरोज की तरह हमेशा याद रखेंगे और उनको हम धन्यवाद देते हैं, क्योंकि बहुत कम होता है कि जो जिनके बारे में कहा जाए और जिनके बारे में सुना जाए, लेकिन कोई भी कार्यक्रम इतना बड़ा हमने देखा कि आजादी का महोत्सव भी बिना उन अनसंग हीरोज के अधूरा था। इसलिए उन आप सबके बिना भी हमारा ये प्रोग्राम अधूरा रहता। आप सबको भी मेरा हार्दिक धन्यवाद। एक धन्यवाद ईश्वर को और अपने इस नेटवर्क कनेक्शन को कि जो मेरी बातें आप सब तक पहुंच रही हैं। हमारा प्रोग्राम बहुत लंबा था, लेकिन बहुत बिना किसी टेक्निकल ग्लिच के पूरा होता चला गया, तो उसको भी एक धन्यवाद। साथ ही साथ धन्यवाद उन सभी दृश्य अदृश्य शक्तियों को, और इस उम्मीद के साथ मैं आप सबसे विदा लूंगी कि हम आजाद हो चुके हैं, 75वां साल मना रहे हैं। भौतिक रूप से हम आजाद हैं, देश के रूप में हम आजाद हैं, और शायद इस 75 साल में हम ये संकल्प ले सकें कि हम मानसिक रूप से और बौद्धिक रूप से भी उस गुलामी से अपने को आजादी दे पाएंगे जो अभी तक कहीं ना कहीं हमारे अंदर मौजूद है, और जो कहीं ना कहीं अभी भी हमें बाकी देशों से आगे बढ़ने में पिछाड़ रही है या दूसरे देशों पर निर्भर होने को मजबूर कर देती है। इन्हीं शब्दों के साथ धन्यवाद देना चाहती हूँ। थैंक यू सो मच एंड बेस्ट विशेस टू एवरीवन।